baseline.
I don't fucking care. Can we move on to a new segment, please?
Welcome to Just Two Fans, a sports show about sports,
Obviously.
about life,
Because sports are life.
and about just whatever the hell we feel like talking about. So, let's go.
What is up, everybody?
What's good, y'all?
I'm Jay Freelander. That's Eli Johnson. And Chris Burkhart back with us. Dun, 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 dun. And joining us, as always, super producer Cameron. Say hi, Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
Solid every time.
Every
Solid
time.
every.
Except you didn't do the cam.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
just, you know,
It's too much. This
Too
is
much.
too much, Jamie.
I thought this
Too
is
much
just two
going
fans.
on.
Why are there four idiots talking to me?
Yeah, we
Because
need to
it's just
change
two because it's just two fans and a super producer and a professional.
sometimes.
But that's a long title, and
Yeah.
just two fans is much catchier. So
It's like didn't the show Two Guys and a Girl, didn't they originally start out as like two guys, a girl in a pizza place, and they changed up the title?
No, it was always two guys, a girl, and pizza place. I think.
Yeah, but it's just two guys and a girl. It's just
Yeah.
it got shortened after a while, is what I'm saying, right?
Wasn't Ryan Reynolds in that?
I don't fucking know. I never watched it. I just
It-
thought, I just thought the
kinda remember
title
it
was
being
catchy.
Pretty funny for a minute.
Maybe
but
we don't
then-
even know. Maybe that's one of those Mandela effects I always hear about.
Dude, there's been some that have freaked me out, man.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
Have you seen the one with Tinkerbell on the Disney intro?
yeah, nuts. Also, no, the
You
one
guys
that
all
gets me-
remember that, right?
Yes.
Tinkerbell was 100% a part of the Disney intro. On
Yeah,
this.
yeah, she come in and dot the I, right?
Yeah. Never happened.
That's not real,
I also remember Shazam.
dude. Shazam is real.
Yeah, you're not gonna.
Shazam
Yeah.
is real. I refuse to believe that Shazam is not real. And everyone's like, "No, you're thinking of Kazam." I'm not fucking thinking of Kazam. I know Kazam. I fucking love Kazam.
It rained cheeseburgers in that lot or in the broken down warehouse.
Shazam is real. Goddammit. I will
was
go to my
real.
grave.
Sinbad was in MC Hammer Pants. Everybody remembers it.
Everybody remembers Sinbad in MC Hammer Pants and a funny little turban.
Yeah.
Okay. It's real. It's real.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not in the title, because I take the show off the rails
No,
in
no,
the
no,
first
no.
2 minutes.
No,
We all okay. To be
Eli's
fair,
been doing that since day one.
yeah, the going off the rails in the first 2 minutes on a random tangent is an Eli special. All right,
Fair.
put it on the menu.
Well, you guys remember too where Disney was spelled Gisney, but you just knew that it was Disney? Because the D for
Yes,
me was
okay, I
always a
always thought it
backwards
was
big
Gisney,
G.
too.
I was like,
I
well,
do.
obviously that's Disney, but nope,
That
that's a
confused
G.
me forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
I
Never
was
got it.
always so confused. I was like, why is it Gisney?
Yeah. And the G's backwards.
Okay, you know what? You know what else? Something we were talking about this the other day at work. We're saying, what is something that you are embarrassed to admit that you found out later in life?
Oh, that's a
Mine's
good one.
pretty easy. You know the song "Mr. Brightside,"
Yeah.
and they say, "Open up my eager eyes."
Yep.
For my whole life until last year, or like not that long ago, I swore to God they said, "Open up my eagle eyes." I had, and it makes sense. It makes sense, right? Like if you're looking
There
for
are-
something, eagles have great eyes.
I will say, like, song lyrics I mess up song lyrics all the fucking time. So like
but that was like
I don't fault
one of
you
my
that
favorite
much.
songs, and maybe not one of my favorites, but one
So
of those songs.
things like you were in a crowd that was singing it. You're like, wait a minute.
No, my
everybody said
my
something
friend
else.
Neil. No. So I was like sitting there. We were. It was back when I worked at the data centers, and we were like, like you get bored in a group of people, and like we were just like singing random shit. And I was like, he was like, we're like going back and forth singing that song, and I was like, "Open up my eagle eyes." He's like, "Hold on, have you seen the clip of like those two guys
Yes.
being like Tupperware?"
Tupperware. Yeah.
Hold on. Wrong, babe.
Wrong, babe.
That's what he was. He was like, hold on. What did you say? I was like, eagle eyes. He's like, no. Eager eyes. It's like,
Dude,
what? No,
that
that's
clip,
not real.
That clip of
Always has
Tupperware,
been, always will be.
I will always watch that whole clip.
Oh, it's so
Oh
good.
my God, it's so funny.
It's so funny.
It's Tupperware,
Chris over
babe.
there looking like he doesn't know what we're talking about.
I thought I heard
Do you not
peas
know
in there.
that clip?
It's peas, babe. Peas.
I know that clip. I was just
Upper.
going down the rabbit hole of misheard lyrics over here.
What's your misheard lyric, Chris?
This is such a weird answer, but I can't think of one. And the weird part is, like, I know I have a bunch, but I just can't think of one of them off the top of my head.
I
right
can't
now.
think
I
of
have
like
a
one
bunch.
that sticks out, but I do it all the time.
Yeah, all the
Most of the time for me, it's like I think I hear something and I know it's wrong, so I just don't sing that part. Because I'm like, there's no way they're saying what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Doesn't make
What I do a
Eagle
lot.
Eyes makes sense a little bit at least.
What I do a lot is like I'll sing along to it, but I'll just like, if you're like listening to another language, and you just like kind of pretend and you're like doing an impression of that just based off the sounds you hear.
Yeah.
I do that a lot, and I've realized that I did that a ton when I was younger. So like I was listening to Taking Back Sunday the other day, and I was listening to a song. I can't remember which song it was. I think, I don't know. But I was listening to it, and I was like, I've listened to this song a million times. I have no fucking idea what the lyrics are. Like I just mimic the sounds he is making, and
dude.
the words don't process in my head.
Especially those like, when we were in 6th grade and the punk rock, punk pop type songs. I'm like, I don't remember any of this.
Where
I know
are
the song.
you?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Drummer Duck. Chris is slowly remembering that he's a professional. Yeah, that's
No,
exactly
no,
what
not
happened.
slowly.
Every
he's
time
like, I'm done with this amateur bullshit.
I forget it every day. I
Yeah, I was
have
gonna
a-
say,
enjoy it.
Drummer Duck must
I
not
have a
tune
real
into
job to
Chris's
do this.
stuff because
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So Chris lets the Just Two Fans podcast go in and gang up on people on YouTube. So
It was
He
fine. I've
welcomed that with open arms.
I know. I got to work on the Just Two Fans trifecta here. I got Cam is the only one I haven't got on the radio for the world to hear his voice yet. So got to work
One
on
day.
that.
One
Maybe
day.
we'll do
He's the
an
man behind the
F1
glass.
segment. Yeah, it's radio. Everything's behind the
That's
glass.
true.
except
That is
me.
very true.
I do want to come back on someday, Chris.
I'll get you on.
You haven't
I might-
invited me back yet, which is a little concerning to my ego. But
I haven't. I haven't had a. Okay, can we go on a tangent real quick? Because you guys got to hear
Please.
this story. You got to hear this story. I was going to tell you, I haven't had a ton of fill-in days with a ton of notice. Like the time that I had you on, I knew like a month in advance I was filling in for the week, right?
yeah,
Now I filled in on Monday. Monday's an easy day because it's fucking Monday, right? So you
NFL.
talk about Monday Night Football, you talk about Sunday football, you talk about everything that happened in college football, Heisman, everything. I'm filling in 6 o'clock show. Usually get to the studio like 5:15, 5:30 because a little bit of prep time, but I'm ready to go. So I leave my house at 4:45. 5:30, call my producer. I'm like, hey Brendan, what's up? He's like, what's up, Burke? I'm like, I'm fucked. And he goes, oh no, what's wrong? I go, I am on the side of I-5. I ran out of gas.
what an idiot.
Oh no!
I wasn't paying attention. Thought I had enough to get there. Ran out of gas. So, and I couldn't even coast to the exit. Like I was screwed. I'd get off to the side and my car just stops. I didn't even hit the brake. I was toasted. So I'm like, I need you to come help me. And he's like, all right. I'm like, go try a gas station, grab a gas canister. Don't care what it costs. Pick it up, bring some gas. He's like, all right. So he goes and does that. He goes to the first station, closed. Like goes to the next station. Oh yeah, we're all out of gas cans. Oh my God, this is getting hairy. I call my other producer at home, wake him up. I'm like, hey, be ready to make sure the station stays on satellite, stays on Fox Sports Radio because we might not make it. He's like, okay. Finally finds one that gets there. Even the cashier is like, are you sure you want to buy a gas can? Because full disclosure, dude, these are way overpriced. He's like, how much is it for like the gallon and a half gas can? He's like, $25.
oh my god.
Oh my!
He's like,
God.
well, my host is stranded, need to get him. So he comes and gets me. To make it worse, that day at my other job was board meeting day. So usually I go to work in like nice slacks and a polo. This day was the full-on suit and tie, everything. And here I am in the pouring rain, gusty wind, trying to get this 1.5 gallon gas canister to actually go into my gas tank as gas is fucking blowing everywhere because the gas tank he got is leaking everywhere because it wasn't like, oh my God. Finally, get in the car. It's ready to go. I just floor that bad boy. I was only like 3 miles away. I walk into the studio at 5:58. Plug in my headphones and I go doodle-doo, doodle-doo is the sound for the Fox Sports update that starts the hour. I mean, as soon as I plug my headphone in, I hear it. Nobody knows this yet. And I'm just like, all right, Rip City, it is 6 o'clock in the morning. We got some sports to get to. I just fucking home run this shit. Talked for 3 hours with zero prep time, smelling like gas the entire fucking time. Then my producer texts me after. He's like, I've lived on this planet for 27 years and I have not had a more eventful morning than that one. So thank you.
Dude, I tell you, one of the things that like absolutely shook me when I went and did this with you was like the fact that literally during the intro stuff, Chris is sitting back in his chair, fully leaned back, feet up on the desk, just like typing away on his phone. And like it all of a sudden the music starts to fade and he kind of slowly puts his phone down, stands up, welcome everyone. Like, it's just like it's just like
I tell you,
the fact that like you didn't, and I was like, I was nervous as fuck. I was just like like Chris is just like boop, boop, boop. Hey, what's up? Like,
hey, I tell you, all the radio hosts, they all do it. Chad does it. Justin does it. We're all like fucking Pavlov's dog, dude. We'll sit in that chair, fall asleep, and as soon as we hear that beep, it's like, all right, welcome back into the show. Chris Burkhardt here. Follow me on Twitter.
It's
and
truly impressive. It definitely shows why we're the amateurs and you are the professional.
Yeah,
you guys do just fine. Don't get me wrong. You do just fine.
Oh, that means a lot.
Since this is like the second time that we had our intro go off without a hitch, I'd say you're being very kind.
Hey,
we doubled their total
difficulties.
from last time, dude.
Technical difficulties do not mean you're a bad host and you don't know what you're doing. It just means
That's
technical difficulties. That's different. We have them on radio too.
Oh, thank you, Chris, for letting us do this.
Pump up our ego a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm just
we're
ready for
great.
him during the
We're
episode.
fucking awesome.
I'm ready for Chris to just be like dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air every time we get quiet.
Go, go, go.
Go to commercial.
All right, we should talk about sports, right?
We should.
This is a sports show after all.
It is a sports show. Let's start with baseball of all things in December.
What? Oh yeah. I was like, why are we talking about baseball? Oh, yep.
Maybe
Yeah, why?
because the largest contract in the history of professional sports was signed on, what was that, Sunday?
Sunday.
Shohei Ohtani. This was a bit of a trip, the 2 days leading up to this, because it was reported that he was on a plane to Toronto, was going to sign with the Blue Jays. Turned out that wasn't true.
It was the
And
guy from Shark Tank.
The guy from Shark Tank was headed back home to Toronto. I don't know how anybody screws
Did you
that
see
up,
his
but
tweet?
Did not.
Oh my God. So what's his name? Richard Harvestack or whatever his name is.
Hershevek.
Yeah. He tweeted a picture of him in the Blue Jays jersey and like hat and been like, news is out, guys. I'm signing with the Blue Jays.
Did you? So like that report that was false caused like hundreds of thousands of dollars of bets on the Blue Jays to win the World Series.
Wild. Although here's the thing, man. What if they pulled it out this year, even without Shohei? That would be like you're like all of a sudden you're hitting money, dude.
A lot of people probably cashed out.
Yeah, true.
But
true.
But they could. I mean, that team's legit. Anyway, doesn't matter. Shohei Ohtani signs a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Can I tell you why I'm a little disappointed by this? I mean, okay,
I'm a lot
outside of the
disappointed by this.
obvious that he went to the Dodgers, right? But one of the things that he was so adamant about at the very beginning of this free agency was, if you leak that I'm meeting with you, I will shun you, essentially, right? Dodgers management was just all over the airwaves. Yeah, we met with Shohei. Yeah, oh yeah, we talked to
All
we
this bluff.
we talked about all this stuff. Blah,
Yeah,
blah.
they call this.
I guess here's the thing. Honor kind of goes out the window when you get $700 million on the table.
Yeah, this is like our conversation with the live players, right, in golf.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, blood money doesn't really mean much when it's $500 million.
When you're getting nearly $750 million with a B, your morals start to slide a little bit.
Yeah. The craziest part of this whole thing, right? So we can talk about forever if this is a good deal or not. And this deal is going to pay itself off with jersey sales, suite sales, and advertising over the next 10 years, regardless, because you are bringing over the entire Japanese market with you. So that aside, the loophole that he is exploiting here to make this deal even better for himself and the team is insane. Which is deferring 90% of this contract.
68 mil.
$68
mil per year.
million a year is being deferred to the end. So after his contract expires. So he's going to get paid $2 million a year. I don't know if anybody knows anything about California, but taxes are a big old bitch in that state. And he would have paid $400 and something million in taxes if he got paid his $70 million a year. But deferring it means he can move back to Japan or move to Tennessee or Florida where there's no sales or income tax, and he won't be taxed at all on that income. It's going to save him hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's going to mean that the Dodgers can pay basically whatever they want for everybody else.
Yeah,
over the next
basically
10
what
years.
I saw is like what this does is it helps him, and then it also enables the Dodgers to only take a cap hit of like $35 million a year on him, which is insane.
It's half.
It's half. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Fucking Dodgers, man. I don't know if you guys saw this. Okay, so deferred payments, for those of you who don't know, like they pay him a set amount for years after his contract out to like 2058 or something like that. Now this is not a new precedent, listener and viewer. There's a man, a myth, a legend named Bobby Bonilla or Bobby Bonilla.
Bonilla. Such a
Bobby
legend.
Bonilla.
Can't even get his name right.
I know.
Two L's, bud. Two L's.
I've only ever seen it written out. All right, you never heard his name. You only saw it written on Bobby Bonilla Day,
Or spoken in hushed tones in Little League dugouts everywhere.
but Bobby Bonilla had a deferred contract, and so every year when he gets his payday, it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and because the Mets have been paying him, the guy hasn't played an inning since 2000.
Yeah, I actually
like it's like 35 years of like deferred payments. Every year this guy has gotten these.
Now, you want to talk about legends, though, Eli. Everyone always wants to talk about Bobby Bonilla Day because it's just been around forever, but people don't understand that Ken Griffey Jr. has the exact same deal. And last year, he was actually the second highest paid player on the Cincinnati Reds.
Yep.
And his deal ends this year in 2024, in which he will be the third highest paid player on the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, so my favorite part about this is like Bobby Bonilla Day has been like this big, it's a big not spectacle, but like everybody makes a big deal of it every year when he gets paid. There is a 1 year overlap of where Shohei Ohtani's this current contract expires and Bobby Bonilla's payday happens. So theoretically, if Shohei Ohtani retires, we will transition from Bonilla Day to Ohtani Day. And it's just seamless. It's so perfect. I love it so much. But yeah, dude, those like fucking the Dodgers, man.
I don't know if you guys know it, but I was just looking at Griffey's deal, but he's also making 4% interest per year on his deferred payments. He's like, yeah, I'll actually give you a loan by not taking all my money, and you just got to add 4% every year. Thanks.
Jesus Christ.
You want to know one of the worst contract deals of all time? And you're not going to guess it. I promise.
Okay. Then
John Elway.
quit with the suspense. What?
John Elway, in 1998, was offered the chance to own 20% of the Broncos.
Oh, no.
The franchise owed the quarterback $21 million in deferred salary. To compensate, Bolin offered his star quarterback 10% of the team for $21 million they owed him, and another 10% for $15 million, which the quarterback would pay out of his own pocket. Elway turned down the opportunity, took his payments, and then the Broncos just sold this last year for $4.2 billion.
Oh. I mean, it's not like he didn't rake the Broncos over the coals on his salary when he was GM too. So
$900 million, though, is what that would have netted him.
Wow.
at least he's got those fucking car dealerships.
And he was trying hard to be a part of the ownership group that bought the Broncos. So not only that, he was going to have to pay them what he would have already had.
What a dummy. You gotta love rich people being dumb, man.
$900 million.
No.
That's just
so far out of my range of understanding.
Nope, I'll take the $21 million you owe me.
Man, I just want to buy a house. That's all I want.
Brutal. All right, so that's Shohei. I mean, do you guys? So I guess long term, obviously we think this is going to pay off for the Dodgers. Is there any way that this doesn't pay off for the Dodgers?
Of course.
I think no. I think even if they don't win monetarily, this is just like the value of that franchise is going to explode because of the market that Shohei brings just by being on the team.
Yeah, but I mean that hype's only going to last a few years. If he pulls like an Albert Pujols on his last contract, where it's like you get this, or who else did it? Where they get that big contract and then kind of disappear. Like you only have another, like couple years of hype off of him. So I don't know if that there is a way this goes south. I don't think it will.
Yeah, I think this is a little different from Pujols because that Pujols contract was on the back half of his career. Shohei's literally in his prime.
That's true.
In his prime, but is a two-way player who won't pitch for a year. God knows if that elbow returns back to health, how that will impact his hitting mechanics. There's a lot of questions here. This is there's risk in this for sure, but he's also, I mean, it's like if LeBron James hit the free agent market but was coming off an ACL tear, I'm pretty sure every NBA team would still throw every single penny they had at him because he's LeBron freaking James. So that's what you're getting with Shohei. Tons of upside here because this guy is incredible.
Well, and you would hope that if you're spending that much money on him, that the franchise is going to be a little smarter with his health than the Angels were.
Mm-hmm.
The Angels literally ran him into the fucking dirt.
Angels are it's just a dumpster fire, dude.
There are so many bad MLB franchises. One of them's like 20 miles up the road from me. The other's in Oakland, moving to Vegas. The other's in Anaheim. Pittsburgh's pretty fucking terrible. Miami's a shithole. There's a lot of bad MLB franchises.
I think I sent you the TikTok of like the MLB because everybody's been calling for a salary cap after Shohei Ohtani's thing. The guy's like, the MLB doesn't have a salary cap problem. They have a cheap ass owner problem.
They have a salary floor. I had this argument the other day with I forget who it was. It was like you don't need a salary cap. The only guys in baseball that are making anything close to what Shohei's making is like the top 0.25%. Of players. The rest of them don't make a whole lot, and the MLB has more of a problem of cheap ass owners than they do overspending.
The point of like one of them is like the Cleveland Guardians, who have like was it the Guardian? No, it was the Reds. So I can't remember. One of them was like they're notorious
Guardians.
for
It was the Guardians.
It was the Guardians for not spending money on and letting good players go and not spending the money. And he is the same net worth as the owner of the fucking Yankees.
Yep.
Right? Like it's not like he doesn't have the money to spend on this.
Right.
He just doesn't do it because it's
Well,
I agree.
And the problem in Denver, for example, unfortunately, is not that Dick Bonfort isn't willing to spend money, it's that he doesn't know how to spend it wisely.
Yeah.
That's a different problem. But like Oakland, I'm surprised that guy's. I'm sure
Alive.
he's getting death threats, but like, holy shit, did he just fleece that fan base for everything it was worth?
It's unreal.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
what's really unfortunate in all this is like Major League Baseball writers, bless their hearts, like they're not good at their jobs. Let me just be completely honest here, okay? Because every other journalist I've dealt with, basketball journalists have done a great job, in my opinion, trying to grow the sport and loving the sport that they cover, right? NFL has done a great job growing it in spite of the NFL trying to get in the way, but they've still done a great job. Major League Baseball blows my mind here because you have just this asinine, he's going to the Blue Jays, almost a year to the day to, Aaron Judge signed with the Giants. So you got 2 off seasons in a row where insiders absolutely shit their pants and can't do their job. Secondarily, the amount of big name guys that I saw, and I mean big name guys, like 200,000 followers on Twitter guys saying, this is such a great move for Shohei because he gets the eyes of a big market team on all his talents and people will finally get to watch him. That's been the freaking problem with baseball this entire time, that even the media members pander like, you have to go to that big market. That's the only way you're going to see it. Now, the guys like Stephen A. Smith and Skip who do the Damian Lillard has to go to New York to be seen, that's because they're caricatures, right? Like they are playing characters this entire time. But all the insiders and the people you see covering will be like, no, Dame is one of the top 25 players in the league. He's on the marquee in Times Square despite playing in Portland. It doesn't work against him. The small market thing is made up by media. And it is big time here in baseball because as I called it out when I saw this, no, because the idea that Shohei, one of the greatest players who's ever played this game, has to go to Los Angeles to get people to watch him is just an absolute travesty, as we've said multiple times here, of MLB marketing its absolute best players. LeBron James went to LA because there was a ton of extra business opportunities for him not related to basketball. He didn't have to leave Cleveland to get eyeballs because the eyeballs followed greatness, and Cleveland was on every freaking TV in America most nights. So it's just ludicrous that Major League Baseball reporters are like, it's so good that he's in a big market. Oh, also, dipshits, Anaheim? Yeah, that's part of the LA metro area. So it is a big market. You're not playing big market versus small market. You're playing Angels versus Dodgers is what you're doing, and it's stupidity.
Yeah, it's absurd. And the problem with baseball goes back to the regional sports networks. I just read an article today. Not that anybody wants to watch the Rockies right now, but even if you did, I don't know how you're going to do it this upcoming year. AT&T Sportsnet no longer exists. So
Jesus.
As of today, there's going to be no way to watch the Rockies. And
don't get
we
me
are
started
still
on RSNs.
Yeah, I mean, we're still in the problem here. I still can't watch the Nuggets on a nightly basis. Luckily for me, they're on national TV a lot, so I get to watch plenty, but if they were terrible, I wouldn't be able to watch them. So the regional sports network thing is a big problem in not having the national TV deal, and that's why the NFL does so well and why these college conferences are doing so well right now with their TV deals is it's a national coverage deal. So we'll see where it ends
to me,
up.
though, just like I said, baseball or NBA does a better job than baseball. They still have the occasional, like I said, the Stephen A's so-and-so player needs to go to New York because he's okay, but Stephen A's also, loves the East Coast and Philly and New York. But the NFL also has really, really small markets. Some of them smaller than
Green
the
Bay.
NBA and Major League Baseball markets. Like, exactly, Green Bay. And at any point, at any time, did anyone ever say Brett Favre needs to go play for the Giants because that's the only way he's going to get eyeballs on him if he goes to a big market? Aaron Rodgers needs to go play for the Rams because he needs to be in sunny SoCal. No, not once. And who were two of the greatest quarterbacks of their particular generation? Oh, the two guys stuck in Green Bay, and it didn't hurt anybody's knowledge of who they were.
Well, you look at Tom Brady is one of the biggest superstars in NFL history, and he played in the New England market. Right? Like, what are we doing
it's
here?
It's like, yeah, well, I mean, Boston is a big market comparatively, and it's a big sports town, but it's also living in the literal shadow because those buildings are so tall of New York City, right? So you're always going to get like the little brother complex in Boston. I say that as a Red Sox fan, and then Tom Brady goes where? To Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. The best quarterback in the NFL right now, best quarterback in the NFL right now plays in Kansas City. So get out of here with this big market stuff because the NFL doesn't push it. They just push, hey, our teams are great no matter where they're playing.
Yeah.
And they're the most popular damn league in the country. So
the NFL has this, right? The NFL also has the advantage of only playing once a week, right? So like baseball, I get the regional sports network thing, but like also we are in the streaming age. Get rid of fucking blackouts on MLB TV. Why the fuck are we still doing local blackouts? That should not be a thing at all.
Oh, that's stupidity.
And so that's the first thing these leagues need to do. And I know they're talking about it, and they would get in a legal battle with Comcast and DirecTV and all their whatever. But I just hope it gets fixed sometime. Drummer Duck says, should the Nuggets do the Suns model and go direct to consumer? They kind of have. They signed up with Fubo. Like, there's ways that I could watch the Nuggets if I was like determined to do so. I just don't want to change I shouldn't have to cater my viewing experience around my ability to watch my team. I just don't think it should be this fucking hard. But maybe I'm crazy.
So like to his point, so the Suns model now, every single one of the Suns games is available on over-the-air cable. So your local channels, right? You can pay then for the Suns Plus package, which allows you to then stream that same that stuff anywhere. So you don't have to be in the comfort of your home. You can pay the extra to be able to stream it wherever you're at, but you're going to have access to all 82 games. Utah jumped on board quickly with that too, with Jazz Plus. So same thing, you can do all 82 games. I think you get archived games. They also threw in the incentive that you get. I know it sounds cheesy, but you get a Utah Jazz shirt, a hat, and a pair of tickets to a home game for $100 a year. So like
that's
that,
not
the hat,
cheesy at
the hat.
all.
The hat and the shirt were pretty cheesy because have you seen the Utah's rebrand? Let's just go highlighter yellow with Microsoft Word basic font. It's stupid.
Bad,
okay, but you get. I mean,
bad.
but a shirt, a hat, and 2 tickets to a home game. That $100 is paid for itself. So
easy.
Those two guys. Now I know for a fact multiple franchises with the continued fall of the RSNs have looked into, and this is NBA specific for my knowledge, have looked into going to a direct to consumer or a just local cable package where everyone gets their content. It's just everyone was afraid to be the first. And so when Phoenix did it, that's why it didn't take long for Utah to jump on board. And as you see teams like even Portland, I think Portland has like another 2 years maybe on this root deal. I don't know what their exit clauses are. Like I know when they were with NBC, they had a clause where they could get out early. But I think teams like Portland, all these other teams are going to want to try to go to that more direct to consumer thing eventually. Because here's the thing, the only way to build a young fan base is to let the young fan base watch it. And so many people in the Portland market right now grew up with games on KGW, which was local access television. Anybody could watch the local news channel, right? That's how you grew up loving the Blazers. So I think it's going to go back that way. Absolutely, Drummer Duck.
Yeah, the Nuggets have zero and Avs have zero. They already have the network. They have Altitude, which is owned by them and run by them. Just give me access to it. Let me pay I would pay $200 a year to give me all all games for the Avs and Nuggets, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, and that's half the battle, because so many of the teams don't own their broadcasts, right? So
Right.
like if you were on NBC Sports Boston, for example, once that Celtics pregame show starts, that's an entirely NBC produced product. So everything you see on camera is an NBC employee, made by NBC, etc. The Blazers were weird because with our contract with NBC, as soon as the Blazer pregame started, everything you saw was produced in-house by the Blazers. And which is weird, because that means every single ad you saw on TV, they made the money for that, not the RSN. It was quite the deal. But then they had the in-house production, but there was only like 2 or 3 teams who had that in-house production, which is why so many haven't been able to just make that jump, because there's a lot of overhead. And I get in this battle all the time, Jamie, but people are so used to YouTube, or like the fact that we're streaming right now. Oh, streaming's easy. Any team can just stream. It is not as simple as just taking a product, which the NBA owns, and just hitting the stream button and just putting it on YouTube. Right. It is like, if you're the Nuggets and you have Altitude, right, and you want to give a streaming product, you're going to invest millions into building an Altitude streaming service so that everyone has it on their app and everything goes through that streaming service, and you're not going through a third party like YouTube. Any team who put all their games on YouTube would just be stupid. Oh, so YouTube gets a majority of the cut of everything you make? Like,
yeah, right.
Like, come on. Like, that's so there's so much that goes into it, because I use this word and people think I'm dumb, but like, you got to build the infrastructure for it, and so many teams don't have it. But you're right. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. With Altitude already being in place and being a Kroenke product, like that's a huge leg up. So that one is just them shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Yep. Well, anyway, that was a tangent, but it was a good one. Those are good discussions. That's the shit that needs to change in sports, because I mean, if these leagues want to even sniff the NFL in terms of popularity, you got to be able to watch. I don't worry any week about being able to watch the Broncos. I watch them whenever the hell I want. And so they got it right. Let's hope everybody can catch up. Speaking of the Broncos, boy howdy, man. What a turnaround.
They look amazing this week.
Yeah. That defense is, I can't describe what I'm watching compared to the 70-point debacle in Miami.
Man. Yeah, dude. It just shows you that Rome wasn't built in a day, baby. Like,
nope. Apparently it takes 6 weeks.
Apparently it takes 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'm just glad that you haven't been like so many people from day one, and my boss at iHeart is also a giant Bronco fan, so I talk about you quite often off the air. But we were talking about like Russ. Like, Russ didn't play terribly last year. There was a lot working against him, and the team around him just played atrocious. And Russ is like this year, especially during this recent run of good play, is looking like the Russ of old, and the team is just finally playing well around him. And you and my boss Chad have been on that since day one. Like, I don't know why everyone's dogging Russ. Like, he's not playing as good as he did for some of those games in Seattle, but he's still playing good football for a quarterback. The team's just sucking, but they're not right now.
Yeah, I mean, the hardest thing for me to buy with the Russ hate all along was when have we ever seen somebody just take that big of a nosedive off the cliff? I mean, go from like almost Pro Bowl status quarterback to the worst in the league
Matt Flynn.
A season. Yeah, I mean, you have the guys that like have the weird random good season, but like Pro Bowl level every year to absolute dog shit. No, that doesn't fucking happen.
No. Yeah, man. I was never on the
we've been on this the whole time.
Yeah.
And it took Sean Payton a little bit to unlock it and figure out how to work with it. But man, when it works, it is fun.
And like, here's the thing: it's not like Russell's blown the doors off these teams. Like, he's playing nearly exactly the same as he has been all like the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And so like saying that Russ is all of a sudden playing well is just false. He's playing exactly how he has been.
Right.
The defense actually knows what they're doing. The other parts of the offense know what they're doing. Cortland Sutton looks like the receiver he should have been for the last fucking 6 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these are the factors that are coming into this. Is the like the rest of the team has raised themselves up.
He is playing better. I mean, his completion percentage is up from 60.5 last year to 67.2. I mean, he's back to Seattle Russ. He's playing.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing better, but it's not like he's not blowing the doors off these teams,
no.
right? Like,
And but he didn't in Seattle either. If you watch how Seattle won when he was there, it was a lot of fourth quarter comebacks with Russ doing his thing, running around and escaping and making something out of nothing, and the defense winning it. And that's what the Broncos when I say like the Broncos I'm not attributing the Broncos turnaround at all to Russ, much like I wasn't attributing their horrible play last year all to Russ. It's the defense right now.
Oh
and
my
I
God,
don't
they
know how to
lit
describe
the
it.
Chargers up, man.
I don't know how to describe it. There's a lot of people in Denver that owe Vance Joseph a big fucking apology because and myself included, after that 70-point game, I was like, fucking fire.
Get him out.
Everybody on that.
Get him out.
But it's becoming pretty clear to me that the Miami game was Saturday night clubbing in Miami and then didn't wake up for the football game that was happening. So.
Yeah.
It does it to the best.
Little
of them.
extracurricular there.
Because, I mean, literally after that, this defense has been fucking insane. They had a bad game against the Jets. They didn't play great against the Bears. And then after that, when they only gave up 19 to the Chiefs, I mean, it's been lights out and fun to watch again, finally.
About damn time.
Can't talk about the NFL without bringing up Chris's Niners because they are looking like the team to beat.
My biggest question with the Niners is how much more does Brock Purdy have to do before the naysayers start saying maybe he's actually a good quarterback? Like, I'm not arguing that Brock Purdy is
check down King, man. Check down King. Just hit Bo Nix.
Right.
Check down Kings, man.
Hey, here's the thing. Everyone argues like, oh, well, he has Deebo Samuel and he has it. Yeah, well, Joe Montana had Jerry Rice. It's like Troy Aikman had Michael Irvin. Peyton Manning had Marvin Harrison. Like every receiver has good quarterbacks and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
But Purdy, for what he's doing, not even that he's Mr. Irrelevant. The fact that he's playing like this is incredible. And when he wants to, he throws some absolute dimes. You got you had the clip of Cam Newton dogging him today, calling him and Jared Goff and Dak Prescott and Tua Tagovailoa, they aren't great quarterbacks. They're just game managers. Well, sorry, game management is part of a quarterback's job. So if he's really good at it, good on him. He's doing his freaking job. Oh, and he throws the football well. I don't know why. Like, there's so many naysayers. Well, he has to win a Super Bowl first. Okay, well, Dan Marino didn't win a Super Bowl. We talked about him like he's the greatest quarterback to ever play the game because he might be. So, and I'm not putting Brock Purdy anywhere close to that territory yet, but he's playing like a top 10 quarterback at least right now.
Fucking sick of people knocking quarterbacks for being game managers. That's what you want out of a quarterback. I want a quarterback who's going to make the right read, the right throw, who's not going to turn over the ball much. Like, that's what I want out of a quarterback. Yeah, cool. It's a lot of fun when you can throw the ball 40 yards down the field. You know who famously didn't do that and is a top 5 quarterback all time? Peyton Manning. That man has a fucking noodle arm. He won a Super Bowl with a fucking noodle arm. He, like, what do we want? Like, Peyton Manning is the best game manager of all time. And he is.
Yeah. Also, when you argue too, Eli, this whole check down thing, like how it came back to bite Knicks, everyone called him the check down king. Well, dude, people don't even understand what a check down is half the time. Like, when the play was designed for the the running back to be the first option, that's not a check down. Like, that's the designed play. Check down is going through my reads and going, oh, not there, not there, not there. Oh, I'm just going to hit the easy one. The safety valve, as I like to call it. That's stupidity. Secondarily, Eli, I don't know. I forgot my point because I was ranting and I'm having fun.
Well, and you turned secondarily into 2 words too, so that probably threw off your rhythm. Secondarily.
I just like to keep you going. It was that pause to try to think of what I had, and I lost it.
It's the same people that were knocking Oregon back in the day for having a gimmicky offense. It's like it's not fucking gimmicky. They're exploiting weaknesses. Like
and,
what?
And that reminds
why
me
is
of
that
what
bad?
my point was.
How is that a knock? I don't like. What do you want him to
It's
do?
not.
Fucking throw into traffic every time and hope his receiver can like. What are you looking for?
What you want? You want Johnny Manziel? Because that's what he did. He just fucking
100%.
hucked the ball wherever Mike
he didn't
Evans
even know
was
what
near.
the plays were. He admitted it.
Every great defense was offense was a gimmick offense at some point. But that reminded me of my point, Eli. Was I had an interview a couple weeks ago with Alex Brink, who I'm sure rings a bell with all you guys, former Washington State quarterback, and he runs quarterback academies now. And I asked him about Purdy and different quarterbacks and how like Hurts gets a knock, and so will Dak because people call them system quarterbacks. And so I asked him straight up. I mean, this is a guy who's played in the NFL. I go, isn't a system quarterback a compliment? Like, don't you want every quarterback to be a system quarterback? And he said like straight up, he's like, it's one of my least favorite arguments in the sport because you want your quarterback to be good for your system. Like if you want to run a spread offense and have a quarterback who's mobile, then you don't want to force a pro style quarterback into that. You want to have like every quarterback who's good should be a system quarterback.
Every quarterback that is good is a system quarterback.
Exactly.
You
It
can't
should not be
throw
a knock.
Tom Brady and Peyton Manning out and do a spread option offense.
You can't run the Eagles offense with Tom Brady. You
No,
can't do it.
You
It's like-
can't. It's not that he would be bad. Not like okay. A, he would have died, and B, it would have been terrible.
Tom Brady
that is
famously
such
ran like a
weak
6-second 40. Like
On the
Like, if
chat,
you got
fuck
Tom
Cam
Brady-
Newton and his bribe-taking
Yeah.
pastor father. That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
As I said, Michael Dyer was down. Michael Dyer was down.
always down.
But it is
Michael
like
Dyer's
if you had Patrick Mahomes, let's go the other way for a second. Like if you had Patrick Mahomes and you forced him to be
Pocket
in a Bill Belichick type offense where it's nothing but pocket, then you, even if you're one of the greatest coaches of all time, should be fired for it, like your ineptitude to use the quarterback's skills to his best ability. Like you don't like it's just, oh my god, yeah.
It's bad coaching.
My
It's
shortest
bad
and
coaching.
slowest receiver, I'm gonna put
bad
him on the
coaching.
outside and make him run nothing but streaks, baby. Like
Yeah.
just don't be stupid. Like
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem. We talked about it with Marcus for years, right? Marcus, he's a system. Yeah, Marcus is not a stand in the pocket passing quarterback. So don't fucking make him do that.
Let's expand on this a little bit. Every single athlete who has been elite at what they do is in a team sport is a system in that sport, right? Like if you go and you place these other like these players anywhere else, like and they run a different system, like basketball is built on like a certain theology when it comes to your game plan, right? Like if you're running, a 3-and-D guy or like a tray up or layup and you're like, you go and get Russell Westbrook when he could only hit mid-range jumpers, like that's a bad fit. It's bad in your system. Stop that. Like everybody is a system. Like
everybody.
It's so dumb. People are dumb.
It's so
Use your
stupid.
brain.
Yeah, it's really dumb. And again, it comes back to Brock Purdy credit until he wins the Super Bowl. It's the same people that are blaming Russ when the Broncos suck and giving him all the credit when they're winning. It's like, guys, no, there's 21 other players on the field. Yeah, the quarterback's the most important, but if you put, I don't know, and Drummer Duck set it up there again in the chat. You're trying to put square pegs into round holes, and that's what these coaches do in the NFL all the time. It's what happened with Russ last year. You're trying to make him do shit that he doesn't and can't do. Why? Why are you doing that?
I'm going to transition us a little bit because I want to talk about other things that are making me very angry with the NFL. I've never in my life heard so much complaining about a correct call. In my
I have some
fucking
takes.
life. I get like, oh, they don't call it consistently, yada yada yada. You can make it as like an overall thing, but the call was fucking right. Stop bitching about it. Like
Dude, even Andy Reid's coming out and be like, he should have checked. Like,
for those of you who don't know, Kadarius Toney or the Chiefs had scored on the last second play to win the game against the Bills, but it was called back because Kadarius Toney was clearly offsides. Now everyone's like, well, he did it 3 other times during the game, blah, 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 blah. Holding happens every fucking play. Every fucking play of the game, holding happens. They don't call it every time because that's fucking annoying and dumb. And then people are like, oh, well, they shouldn't call it in that moment. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
Make the right call. Like,
yeah, the only thing that I can say to that, and the only argument that I think holds any weight is what you said there, is like if he was doing it all game, which he was, and they didn't say anything, right? So typical protocol for receivers is you look over to the sideline and you check.
Not just typical protocol, things that you learn from
That's
Pee-wee.
what they do. That's what they do. So anyway, and you check, and then typically, historically, this year they seem to be calling it a little closer than they have been. Historically, they'll be like, hey, you need to back up.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll come up to you when the opportunity arises and say, hey, watch your alignment. Like the refs give these guys all the opportunity in the world to correct their behavior. I don't know what was or was not said to him throughout the game. That conversation may have happened. And if you look back at the replay, he did look over at the ref, didn't give the ref any opportunity to say yes or no. He just looked, pointed, and looked back and lined up offsides.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
on the one side, yes, he was 100 million % offsides. And if you don't want the flag thrown, fucking line up right.
That's like my whole thing is like, we should have given him a warning. Why? Like,
yeah, it's not their job.
Never once in my life when I played football 7 years, never once did a ref come up to me and go, hey, buddy, if you hold him again like that, I'm going to call it. You know what they did? They fucking called it.
Yeah,
right? Like,
I think in the NFL, they generally like, hey, that was too close. Because these guys know, like, whatever. It doesn't even matter. He was fucking offsides.
It's the right call.
And for them to come out and say, you don't throw that flag in that situation, first of all, what if that flag negated a pick?
Yeah,
they didn't throw the flag knowing the result of the play. They threw the flag when the snap happened. So what if Patrick Mahomes threw a game-ending interception on that and the offsides negated that? Now they would have declined it. You don't know the result of that fucking play. What?
Yeah.
Like, why are we? No, you can't do it. And also, Chiefs fans and Patrick fucking Mahomes, if you're gonna have that energy with this offsides, you better have that same energy with the penalty call that won you the fucking Super Bowl. What the fuck? You guys
was the very first one.
What were Eagles fans saying last year? You can't throw that flag in that situation. You sound exactly the fucking same, you motherfucker. Like, what are you doing?
It's just like, and who was the very first one to point to the ref to get the call in that situation too? Oh, Patrick Mahomes. I also find it cheap too. He goes up to Josh Allen after the game. Worst fucking call I've ever seen. Pats him on the back. Like, dude, like what are you doing
Such
here? And then leans into it over and over and over. Yeah, they robbed him from greatness. It was one of the greatest plays Kelsey had his Hall of Fame career, and fans paid to see greatness. Yeah, they didn't pay to see a guy line up a yard off. And then you got all the KC fans who were chiming in. Was Von Miller offsides? Look, their foot's in the exact same spot. Well, yeah, if their foot's in the exact same spot, then Von Miller's not offsides because Kadarius Toney's foot was on the Bills' side of the ball. You dipshit! Like, it's not that hard.
I think one thing people are ignoring too, he looked at the ball. You can tell as a receiver where your lineup is because he was on the inside and on the line. I played 1 year of receiver in high school. You can tell where you are in relation to the ball. Like, you know, it's not, they beat that into you.
2023,
There are
Cameron.
yard
Field
markers
so-
everywhere.
Hey,
Yeah.
you guys know because you're
There's
of
that little line on the
generation.
field that moves with you. Like, right?
Yeah,
like
they
that's
do.
that's a thing.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a fact. But here's the thing, guys.
It's on my TV
you
every
are
week.
of this
So
generation to know. It is 2023. They don't even have to deal with the optical illusion that is the crown on a field anymore, right? These fields are flat. They're easy to see.
Yeah, when you're an
Like,
outside receiver and the ball's in the other hash mark, you had no idea where it was.
yeah. It could be five yards over, like above your head, or 5 yards over the horizon. Like, come on.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just like, and I just, it just keeps coming up. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, you have to talk about it, right? Because it's like the big talk of the town right now. But it's like, why are we still? Nobody's debating that he wasn't offsides. So why is everybody so mad that a flag was thrown for offsides? Like, it's so dumb. Everyone's like, they shouldn't have thrown that. Was he not offsides? No, he was offsides.
And
So
if
why
you're
shouldn't they
saying
have
that
thrown
they
it?
should throw the flag every time there's an offensive offsides, that one was egregious.
Well, then
He was
again,
a half-yard pass.
keep that same energy when on holding place. Every single hold should be called. Every single one. The game's gonna be fucking miserable. You'll never like. We always get annoyed. I get annoyed all the time. I'm like, keep the fucking flag in your pants. Like, I get it. Yeah, there was a hold on the backside. Whatever, dude. It didn't affect the play. But offsides on offense on a touchdown, that affects the play. Yeah, he may not have been like actively in it, but like it's just fucking.
Also, it doesn't matter. Like the flag happened at the snap. They did. It's not like they were like, "Oh, this is a touchdown. Now we need to throw the flag."
Yeah.
No. Flag was out before anything happened on that play.
Yeah, and then everyone asked, though, was that a designed play for Kelsey to throw that back? And it very well could have been, but I kind of hope it's not, so that within the same play, Kadarius Toney makes the biggest dumb-headed buffoonery play by lining up offsides, and then makes one of the biggest heads-up plays by going, "Hey, Kelsey, I'm open," and getting a touchdown.
So Travis Kelce is like notorious for throwing these. I saw this. I can't remember if they were talking about it on their podcast or something. Andy Reid hates it. But Travis Kelce is like, I'm not going to stop throwing this pass. He's like, I don't know why more teams don't do it. It's like not that hard. You just throw it back to your buddy and then you can run it in. So he does this off script, which is insane.
Yeah, well, if Kadarius Toney hadn't lined up offsides, he would have been a half yard further back and not in the right position, and he would have been tackled. No touchdown anyways.
True.
So I don't know what we're arguing semantics here. Wasn't a touchdown. Okay? Let's just
nailed it. Let's get on to college football.
One second. Because you bring me here for my Formula One, and I'm expanding into race cars this week because there's other racing, because there's 77 days before Formula One happens again. There's a couple other things before. Formula E in 30 days, Mexico City Grand Prix. Should be pretty cool. And then you've got the World Rally Championship, Monte Carlo on January 24th.
Fun.
So that'll be a fun weekend. And then we have the 24 Hours of Daytona in 45 days on January 27th. And I have to hold on to this calendar because this is the only way I make it through the off season. Like, this month is the hardest because it's 30 days of no race cars.
Yeah.
And then it's like
No
every
vroom
weekend
vrooms.
there's race cars. It's like every
Cameron,
weekend
no
after
vroom
that, I can
vrooms.
just be like,
Cameron, sad no vroom.
but right now, there's none.
Cameron,
I have
big
some
sad no
F1
vroom
news. You ready for it?
vroom. Ready for it?
Valtteri Bottas raises $150,000 for charity with nude calendar.
Fuck yeah, he did. Fuck yeah, he did. That's the most Valtteri Bottas thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is so good.
Did you see when he signed that picture of his ass in the creek and gave it to Hamilton this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was a couple years ago, wasn't it?
It was last year because first year at
Their
Alpha.
first year. Yep.
God, he's the funniest dude. I love Valtteri.
Anyway, that's our Formula One news. All right, college football. We're an hour in. Finally
go.
talking about college football. We've been avoiding it. We had to take last week off because I couldn't pull myself to talk about this. So we're going to start we're going to get it out of the way so we don't have to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Championship week happened. The Pac-12 championship kicked it all off Friday night. I don't know, man. I've had so long to digest what happened in this game, and I just can't figure it out.
So
really,
tell me if I'm a psychopath. This is. Tell me if I'm crazy.
Yes.
Oregon has lost to Washington twice
this year. Yeah.
this year. I still think Oregon had the better team this year. Is that crazy to think? Like, again, like you look at this, and so in Washington, both teams played great. Home game in Washington, that's a big home field advantage. Oregon was a play away from icing that victory, right? A little collapse at the end, obviously, like not great, but like I feel like Oregon controlled that game, right? Like Oregon really had like they kind of lost that game on their own, right? This one, it just felt like Oregon was like flat for 3 quarters. Like they just weren't really in it. But they still only lost by 3. And I feel like if you get outplayed for 3 quarters and you still only lose by 3, like it's kind of like, are you the worst team?
They really only got outplayed for a quarter and a half.
Yeah.
Because they won the third quarter handily. Here's the thing. When you're playing Michael Penix Jr., you cannot be down your 2 starting corners. And Oregon was down their 2 starting corners. It was my concern going into Friday. On Tuesday, when we recorded the episode, we didn't know that those guys were out. As far as we knew, they were playing.
Mhm.
Came to Thursday, found out they were out, and that's when I texted Eli in full-blown panic mode. Like, I am terrified now because I don't think Triquez Bridges can handle this because he didn't the first time. And turns out I was right.
Yeah.
Because
also
that
went
was
straight-
the difference in this game.
I was also very worried about that, but I did not want to engage in negativity at that time.
You were not giving me the time of day at all.
I was like, I
But
literally
I
told Jamie, I
was-
was like, no, you're not doing this to me the night before the game.
I was
No
like,
fucking
no.
chance.
I was
I
like,
was like,
no.
we've got depth. God damn
I
it.
said, this is a part of our Just Two Fans pact. You have to be suffering with me because I was in full-blown panic mode and I was right. And I texted Eli halfway through the second quarter and I said, turns out my concerns were valid because the
Mhm.
corners got fucking lit up in that game.
Yeah, and the way they attacked too, they made a point. The other weakness that we had talked about, and they got past the second level and attacked the safeties. And I actually thought the Oregon linebacking core, I thought, did a really, really good job trying to stay in man coverage when they were stuck in man, giving up the speed that they were doing. And so half the time when the Huskies caught the ball, it was a quick tackle because they stayed with them. I thought they did a great job, but with no help over the top, and then you're starting corners out. I mean, you're out on an island, especially playing a quarterback like that. I also think in this game too, as much as anyone hates to give them praise, but I have to. I told you I'm an objective journalist, guys. You gotta give DeBoer so much credit here because
fantastic.
what happened in this game was, like, to Eli's point, I thought Oregon thoroughly outplayed Washington in that first game and then shot themselves in the foot to lose it. But then everything that Oregon did really, really well in that first game is pretty much everything that DeBoer focused on, and they smacked Oregon in the mouth at the line of scrimmage. And I don't think Oregon expected it, which is why it took them a quarter to get that groove back, man. And so mad respect to a coach saying that's how we're going to do it. Our weakness is we're going to try to make them a strength. And I like that from him.
I feel like a lot of this had to do with experienced head coaching and inexperienced head coaching with Dan Lanning. Because, and like, this is not a knock on Dan Lanning. This is just something you learn over time, is that, like, he tried to do what worked in the first game.
Oh, exactly.
That's what he tried to do. Like, it wasn't like he tried to, like, he didn't try to adjust. He tried to do what worked in the first game, and just didn't really anticipate well enough what DeBoer was going to do to counter what happened in the first game so it wouldn't happen again. And so I mean I like, fuck it, I love Dan Lanning. For the future, I will take Dan Lanning over Kalen DeBoer for the rest of my life. It's just one of those things, like, he got outcoached. This is the first time, like everyone's like, oh, like, Dan Lanning made such bad decisions in that first game that the cost of the game is he got outcoached, blah, 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 blah. I genuinely think that game was the first time Dan Lanning got truly outcoached.
I have some takes on that. First of all, yes, I agree with you. In the initial game plan, got fully outcoached. However, Oregon, from the first quarter on, won this football game. So the adjustments the Oregon coaching staff made were fantastic. It was just too little too late against a really good football team.
Yeah, totally.
So what was Dan Lanning's fault was they didn't adjust quick enough. Torsten's point on the chat is the 2 3 and outs at the beginning of the game were the first worrying signs. Yeah, I was also concerned, and turns out those 2 3 and outs were the difference in the game. But when they turned it on, man, they scored 21 unanswered points and all of a sudden had the lead.
Yeah, oh, totally.
So, like, and Chris, we talked earlier about jumping in the chat there with you in the, what is it, fifth quarter?
Yeah, Maria, whatever.
And we were fighting with whatever douchebag was on your Twitter feed or YouTube feed talking about how Dan Lanning's terrible because he can't win these games. It's like, dude, like, I don't know how to, like, these people that are out here saying Dan Lanning's awful just don't fucking understand sports. Like, you just don't get it.
It's they don't understand like the nuance of building a program.
And Eli, you crushed, like, the point is you have a coach who just coached his 100th game as a head coach and somebody who just coached his 30th. Like, that's a huge difference. Not even 30, 20 something. Like, huge, massive difference. And how many times has Dan Lanning actually been tested? Not a lot. Right?
He's been tested at least twice, and he lost by a combined 6 points. He may have lost, but I still think he passed the test. Like,
and
you know
everybody's
what I mean?
like, he has a DeBoer problem. He's lost 3 games by a combined 9 points.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about that too. Everyone said he's got a DeBoer problem. Dan Lanning walked into the 2 best Washington teams maybe of all time.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade here. We fucking hate Washington. The last 2 years of Washington football have been, even their national championship. This team would just cruise through either of the, like, any other team in Washington history. This team crushes them. And so really, when you say Kalen DeBoer Dan Lanning has a Kalen DeBoer problem, what you're really saying is that Washington's team is really fucking good right now, and there's been 2 years of that. I've been very vocal, at least in this chat. I don't know if I've said it on the show yet. Like, I don't think this is a problem after next year. After Penix leaves, I don't think this is an issue.
I agree. I fully agree. Washington's recruiting is dog shit right now. I think it's 12th in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Oregon's is second. Like, it's just long term, this will not be an issue. And that was my whole point with the YouTuber on Chris's chat that was very clearly a wet beaver.
Scotty, chill.
I'm like 6 years old.
It was bad. That was bad. That was bad. But I said wet beaver because I said he reeks of wet beaver fur the other day when he was talking. Anyway, my whole point with that was, yes, Dan Lanning, 2-year head coach. Has he done everything that we would want him to do in those 2 years? No, but no coach in Oregon history has. Literally, if the bar is win a national championship or nothing, then nobody's done that. And neither has Kalen DeBoer, by the fucking way. So, like, what are we talking about? Dan Lanning
goalposts have, like, severely shifted for Oregon fans.
It's unreal.
If you think about when we were, like, I hate to be like back in my day, but like when we were watching this team grow, we would be creaming our jeans for a New Year's Six Bowl. And now everyone's like, just a New Year's Six Bowl. We need to get the guy. Dan Lanning's not him. Fuck off. I get that it's a rivalry game and it hurts. But, like, let's say this year, fucking, I don't know, USC was incredible. right? And they beat us twice, we would not be having even remotely the same conversation.
It's because it's our biggest rival.
It's our biggest rival, and that sucks. It really fucking does, because I hate and I'm around them so much, all the fans. But like it sucks really bad. But like this is not like a long term. It's
no. This is a
Kalen
blip in the road.
DeBoer being a good head coach, fantastic head coach, having a crazy good team that is not going to be like that so far has not been sustainable since he hasn't backed that up with the recruiting over the last 2 years. So
now all I'm saying, hey, you can have Dan Lanning can have a Kalen DeBoer problem, but at the same token, Washington had a Mario Cristobal problem, and I think that says more about Washington than it does Dan Lanning.
Right. Yeah.
What's my favorite thing is like all these Husky fans coming out of the woodworks like 3-0 against you guys. And it's like, yeah, you remember when you lost 12 years in a row? Like
by an average 12. Margin of 24 points.
Like for those who aren't in the know, and I know you are, Kalen DeBoer is 103-11 as a head coach.
He's a good coach,
103-11 in Division One. Division One, he went 12-6 at Fresno, 24-2 at Washington. His worst season was a 3-loss season. Oh, and that was during the COVID year. Like the dude's good. He's just a good coach. I mean, again, hate on Washington all you want. They had an all-time great team for their program, and by all accounts, so did Oregon. Well, Oregon didn't go undefeated in the Pac-12 because going undefeated in the Pac-12 is so rare. Only one team did it in the Pac-12 era, and that was Washington this year. And a lot of it has to do with their head coach. It's like I think you may have said it. Jamie, in all of our puke fest anyway, because I was praising them, is that it sucks that this Washington team has to beat you twice when their coach is likable and their quarterback is extremely likable and their team as a whole
is extremely likable.
Their team is just likable, which sucks for the rivalry. But man, everything has to be black and white in today's age, and that's stupidity. Dan Lanning can be really, really good, and Kalen DeBoer can just have his number right now. Both things can be true.
And also, it's not like he's owning him.
Yeah.
These are 2 games that are 1 play away from going the other direction. 3 games. Yeah, 3.
All 3.
3. Last year, Bo Nix doesn't get hurt. Oregon wins that game. You can't convince me otherwise. The first game this season, any one of 5 plays goes a different way. Oregon wins that football game. This game, Bo Nix doesn't throw a pick after the Penix interception, and that play goes down for a score. Oregon wins this game. It's not like
even
not
that
like
pick
Oregon's getting their doors blown off.
Was like a misunderstanding of the rules. He saw that you could see his eyes look at the defender on the sideline and go, he can't touch that ball. I'm throwing it right there. He was able to touch the ball because for some reason the offense can't, but the defense can.
Yep.
It's a dumb rule. But anyways, like he's not owning him. These are close, well-played games.
Yeah. And he is a generational talent at quarterback.
Yeah. Like, come on, guys.
Got robbed.
Relax.
Got robbed of a Heisman. I agree with you. Michael
I fully agree with you. I think the Heisman should have gone to one of 2 Pac-12 players this year. And the fact, I texted this to you guys, the fact that fucking Jaden Daniels won the Heisman because he didn't win enough games to get punished in a championship game.
This is insanity, right? So I think Michael Penix Jr. actually should have won over Bo Nix,
I completely,
which is like,
I love Bo Nix with all my heart. Penix should have won the Heisman.
But Bo Nix was the odds-on favorite going into championship weekend.
Yep.
His stat line was 21 for 34, 239 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. That
lost him the Heisman.
Loses you the Heisman because you lost a game when LSU's sitting at home because they suck so bad they can't play? Like, what the fuck? How does that work?
Actually, you know who should have won the Heisman? Jordan Travis. Because if he's that important,
that's actually probably
that
true.
Florida State got kept out of a chance to win a championship after going 13-0 because Jordan Travis is that important. He's the best player in college football.
Yeah, well, Heisman voting in and of itself is stupid because JJ McCarthy got a first place vote. Like that's
Oh, I don't know
What
if
are
you
we-
saw. Did you
what are we
see?
doing?
Did you see like the regional breakdowns and how
Yeah.
like the South like clearly got together and was like, don't even put Penix on your like Penix wasn't even in the top. I don't even think he was top 3 in the South. It's ridiculous. Like
It's absurd.
it's a horrible. It's such a bad award now. Like
It really is. It's trash.
I think voters have lost sight of what the Heisman should be.
What's crazy is
Well,
like
it's lost all its integrity.
Well, it's like
just gone.
Jaden did have better stats if we're looking at stats, but how many times does anyone argue that stats don't tell the entire picture? It's also the fact that Bo Nix was sitting in fourth quarters of games. Michael Penix was playing a lot of slow-paced games where the offense wasn't on the field as much as Daniels or Nix at times, right? But all three quarterbacks had comparable stats relatively, right? But one of those quarterbacks was undefeated, a conference champion, and the only Heisman finalist with a spot in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
And that should be rewarded too, because if what the precedents you're setting with Jaden Daniels is that the Heisman is only a stat award now.
If the
And that's
Heisman were a
stupidity.
stats award, Christian McCaffrey would have won in a landslide.
Well, I'll just put it this way, guys. Like if you put Jaden Daniels on the Huskies, as a Duck fan, I don't care. I'm not scared of a Jaden Daniels led Husky team.
Nope.
I'm not afraid
We've
of a
seen
Husky
that.
team with I'm not afraid of a Husky team with Marvin Harrison Jr. and an
No.
average quarterback. I was afraid of a Husky team with Michael Penix because I watched what that man could
Yeah.
do. It should have been Michael Penix.
We got to talk about like with stats. 20 a quarter of Jaden Daniels' touchdown passes came from 2 FCS schools or low FBS. Like,
He had
what
a
are we
7
doing here?
touchdown game.
What are we doing?
Against-
He played Georgia State into the fourth quarter when they were up 42-0.
Yep.
Like stop. Like we can't. It's well. I mean we're arguing about this
It's
and none
lost
of us
its
even care about the award anymore.
The award, the year that the Heisman lost all integrity for me was Christian McCaffrey.
Mine was
There is
Toby Gerhart. He was
That
far
too.
and away the best running back in college football that year,
that too.
and he lost to
Christian McCaffrey
Mark Ingram.
broke.
Mark Ingram.
Christian
Wait.
McCaffrey broke every meaningful record for a running back in college football his year, and he
But he
didn't win
didn't
the
break
Heisman.
Bo Jackson's record.
Yeah.
It's
Well, did you
so,
see?
yeah,
you
I
guys,
mean, you're very right, Cameron. That like the Toby Gerhart year was like very clearly like this is bullshit.
like he got the Doak Walker
Yeah,
award for best
anytime
running back
like,
in the year in college football, and didn't win the Heisman. He lost
That
to a
happened to
running
Christian
back.
McCaffrey too.
Like, what?
Yeah, and I think it was Andrew Luck one year had the best
it's-
quarterback, the Davey O'Brien, and then lost the Heisman to a quarterback.
It's very clear that they just don't want. Like Marcus won because there was no other option. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, Marcus was clear.
no choice.
Yeah,
But other than that, a West Coast player is not going to win the Heisman.
Well, did you guys see the graphic that I think it was maybe Fox or ESPN put out, where it showed the 3 quarterbacks, and for Michael Penix and Bo Nix, it only included their passing touchdowns, and for Jaden Daniels, it included passing and rushing,
yeah.
and very
I did
much
see that.
skewed it so that he appeared just in that graphic as better.
Such a
It's
joke.
conspiracy,
I mean,
man.
the SEC bias this year has been more clear than it ever has been.
And especially in a year that the SEC is trash, dude. The SEC sucks. Not like meh, like bad.
Yeah,
Beyond Georgia and Alabama, the SEC is bad at football. Any of those other teams in the Pac-12 would have been 6-6 at best. No,
Fully agree.
you're not going to convince me otherwise. It was a bad conference.
It's all stupidity, guys, because the argument almost all year long until it started to eat itself like we expected was that the Pac-12 was the strongest conference top to bottom in the country. And
We
I think
called this.
and I
we
think
said
it held true, right? and then it started to eat itself like we all knew it would. And despite the fact that it was the strongest conference in the country, its undefeated champion doesn't win the Heisman. And if Oregon would have won its conference championship game with the way everything else played out, would have very likely been left out of the Final Four. I mean, if you want to talk SEC bias, it's it right there, because what was largely touted as the best conference had to struggle to get into the college football playoff. And that's with an undefeated team or what would have been a one-loss team. It's crazy to me. I've said this all over every radio and podcast I've been on for the last 2 weeks, and that is that the 12-team playoff cannot come soon enough.
I have questions. All right. We can talk about the other games. I don't know that they matter at this point. I think this is a much better discussion. 12-team playoff. I talked about this with Cameron today during a work break. So we think the 12-team playoff. Yeah, we think the 12-team playoff is going to fix all of this. I'm already predicting the first controversy that is going to come up because of this. Okay. And I have a way to fix it, but I want to know what you guys think. So the playoff is going to be the top 6 conference champions. I think 5 now. Top 5 conference champions, and then 7 at large, I think is what it's changing to with the demise of the Pac-12.
One tie, one guarantee, highest ranked group of 5, right?
That's why it's the top 5.
Oh,
top 5 conference champions are guaranteed a spot. The top 4 you can only be in the top 4 if you are a conference champion. So you have to win your conference to get the bye. Okay. I think we all agree that the system is good.
Yep.
My question is, what happens if we get to championship week and we have a situation where you have number 1, we'll call it Ohio State, against number 10, Oregon. Okay. So going into conference championship week, you have 2 teams in the playoff playing. Oregon loses that football game. Are they bumped out because they played in favor of a team that didn't play and has less losses now? That's going to be the first controversy. I guarantee it. A team that loses their conference championship game, maybe embarrassingly so, and is left out because they had to play that game. That's going to be the first controversy. My way to fix it, well, first of all, do you guys agree with me that that's going to potentially be a problem?
Absolutely.
Okay. My way to fix it is you set the playoff after the final regular season week. So the teams that make the playoff are set before conference championships, and then seeding is based off of the results in the conference championship games.
I think that's fair. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have, we can take this year, for example, right? And take, what if Iowa won that game? What if Iowa beats Michigan in that game? Some fluke happens. What happens, right? Like, where do we go from there? Because then
Iowa's the 4 seed.
Iowa's the 4 seed, and then Michigan's an at-large. That's wild. I love it.
It's awesome.
Shoot it in my veins. Don't get me wrong.
Torsten says, in relation to my situation, Oregon is likely 10-2 at that point, would have 3 losses. You're on the fringe like that, and you're one of the best 12 teams. Are you one of the best 12 teams? If they were one of the best teams going into a week that they're playing because they were the second best team in their conference, I don't think you can punish them for losing.
That's where the problem is right there. Is it's not necessarily that you're not the 12 best, right? You got to get deserving in there, and you can't punish people. And this is why I have such a problem with this Heisman shit. Bo Nix got punished for playing in his championship game, and that doesn't sit right for me, right? Like, if you can take your team to a championship game, you should not be punished for that, right?
Jane
like
Daniels was rewarded for not having to play
for losing
Georgia.
too much.
If LSU is playing Georgia instead of Bama, Georgia smacks Jane Daniels in the mouth and he loses the Heisman.
Yeah, and then
You're not going to convince me otherwise.
And then Michael Penix is the Heisman winner. It's one of the things that, like, I get it because, like, oh yeah, you lost another game, like you're 3-loss, but like that loss, and I think I reflected this pretty well in my rankings this week, is that like I did not punish teams really for that loss, right? Like
I didn't either.
Sure, you might have dropped a spot or two, if you got fucking
stayed in
handled.
the top 8. Like all the teams that played stayed in the same. So that's the other solution is, right? So if you're not going to say you're not going to set the playoffs before the conference championships, you at least can't drop.
Yeah.
Like
it's
just
bonus
I don't
football
know
at that point for pride and seeding.
And it's for seeding. I mean, in reality, almost all of the Power 4 now conferences, most likely in most years, both of those teams are going to be deserving and should be in the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in your conference championship in the Power 4 conferences, you should just be in the playoff. Now, there's going to be an anomaly, but not really anymore, actually, because there's not a single conference anymore that has divisions that determine conference championship games.
Yeah.
It's all the 2 best teams. So I think this solves itself. It should. If you're in your conference
you look at that.
you're
Here's the thing.
in.
The beauty of this is it's 12 teams. So if you have a Power 4 conference and the top 2 from each conference, the conference championship game is in the playoffs, I'm fine with that. You still have 4 more spots.
One of them's guaranteed. So you still have 3 more at-larges.
Yeah, 3 more at-larges. Whatever, man. Like, if you can't make it to your conference game and you can't make that 3 at-large, sorry, you weren't in like it. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and now that it's the 2, like, you're not going to have a situation like what used to happen to the Pac-12 North, where Stanford and Oregon were clearly the 2 best teams in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
But it came down to that one game and the other was left out. You're not going to have that anymore. Didn't have it this year, but you're not going to have it in the SEC. The SEC is getting rid of divisions to determine championship game. The Big Ten is getting rid of it next year with the addition of the 4 West Coast schools. The Big 12 already didn't have it, and the ACC, I don't know if the ACC is keeping it or not, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That conference sucks.
Another thing I wouldn't mind seeing, to be honest, is like this year, if you went with the 12 teams, you would have had Georgia, Ole Miss, and Ohio State and versus Penn State in the first round. And like we have something at the OSAA where seeding will change if it results in a first round matchup that is conference teams.
Yeah,
so like if you saw this in
if
you saw this and Georgia was a 6 seed and Ohio State was a 7 seed, you move Georgia to 7, Ohio State to 6, so they're still each get the home team, but you're not playing SEC versus SEC, Big 10 versus Big 10 in the first round. I think I would like that as well.
Yep.
God, we should be the commissioners.
Well, and the hard part is going to be like, so like this year, right? Oklahoma is going to be left out in favor of Liberty. Right. So that's going to always be a tough, but like that argument to me is easy. Oklahoma, you didn't make your conference championship. You don't deserve it. Sorry. See ya. Like that one, like that's less.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's a less heated debate for me, right? Because you are no longer running into, well, they won their conference championship. That's gone, right? You're not like when you get to that, everyone's like, well, you're still going to argue about 12 and 13. You are, but it's going to be a much less heated argument, right? Because you're choosing between Oklahoma or fucking, Arizona. It's a much different conversation than you're having right now, where you're like, Florida State went undefeated. Why is Alabama in there? Right? That because it's less. I don't know. Because it's less important, right? It's like trying to argue between the 64th team and the 65th team in the NCAA tournament. Who gives a fuck? 99.9% of the time, it doesn't fucking matter at all.
Right. Yeah, and the other thing, the other argument against the 12 team, right, is that it's going to dilute the how meaningful the games are. I fully disagree. It may dilute what the Michigan-Ohio State game meant this year, right? That may mean a little less, but random Oklahoma game at the end of the year means a lot more all of a fucking sudden.
Yeah.
Right? Random Arizona making a skyrocket up the rankings, that means a lot more all of a sudden. Right? You're sitting in that 13, 14, 15 spot going into rivalry weekend. Your game all of a sudden is a really, really fucking big deal.
Well, and then not only that, on the top end of that, you're fighting for a bye week.
Yeah,
which is
that's right.
Huge.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? The difference between 4 and 5 is going to be huge. Like if Oregon's going, like, let's say it's Oregon, Ohio State. They're well, they can't be both undefeated next year, but hypothetical. Like one of you is getting a bye week. That's a huge fucking game. Right? Like this is where it gets
the conference championships all of a sudden mean more, which is crazy. Yeah. I just hope they can't hurt more too. That's kind of my whole point with this is like, let's keep the integrity of the playoff intact and the integrity of the conference champ. Like you do not want to get to a point where you're punishing teams for making your conference championship game. That's just absurd to me. So again, and even if it's, I would be fine saying if you're in the Power Four now and you make your conference championship game, you're in, period.
And then that also, like, going back to the like importance of the regular season, if you drop a game, especially in a big conference like these super conferences that we're heading to, you lose a game, you're no longer guaranteed. Because you were no longer guaranteed to get into your championship game, and that means you're no longer guaranteed to get in. Yeah, sure. It may make the regular season feel a little bit less important, but really, here's the question. I don't think so. Here's a question for you guys. This is the argument everybody made going from BCS to the 4-team playoff as well. Do you feel any less excited about playoff? Like the end of the season than you did against the BCS? No.
I do this year because I fucking hate most of the teams that are in the playoff, but that's
different. That's a different emotion. The football itself has not felt any less important than when it
feels more
honestly,
important.
Here's the thing. It's more important because the BCS would have been done already. There would have been this would have been done like almost a week ago, right? Like, or a week, it would have been done, and like 90% of the teams are out at that point, right? You would have.
If this was the BCS, it'd be Michigan, Washington. End of discussion.
Yeah. I mean, but and it would have been that, you would so the only games that would have mattered in championship week would have been those two games.
Yeah.
True. So it's like. What this does is it broadens the importance of games rather than having 6 or 7 games be ultra important. It broadens it to now there are 20 games that really mean a shitload.
When you get to the end of the season, those last 2 weeks leading up to championship week, dude,
unhinged.
The storylines are going to be absolutely unhinged.
You know that meme of Charlie from It's Always Sunny with the board and he's like that? It's going to be like that. Everybody's going to have all their fucking scenarios. It's going to be a blast.
Insane. I love it. Chris, what were you going to say?
I was going to, and we don't have to really get into it here. This is just be something we can chew on for later. But I wonder how the 12-team playoff impacts any decision the NCAA makes with the early signing periods and the transfer portal, because Ty Thompson leaving for, Oregon right now makes sense for him, right? But if Oregon's in the playoff, you can't lose your 2 backup quarterbacks or something to the portal, but they can't stay on the roster because then they lose possible roster spots for the other teams that they could transfer to, right? So you almost have to push back the
I
transfer till after the season, like right?
I may be
Like,
high, but I'm pretty sure I saw something that the NCAA was looking at the ramifications of NIL and transfer on with the 12 team. I think I saw something like that from.
okay. I mean, because
So
that would just make sense. It's just crazy.
This is a perfect segue into the next section I was going to talk about, which is
Perfect.
Like, okay, we're fixing stuff in college football. Let's fix all of it. Right now, I cannot imagine being a college football head coach. First of all, these guys all look like absolute ghosts because you're worrying about your players leaving, you're recruiting transfer portal guys, and you're in the middle of high school recruiting because the early signing period is December 20th. That is no, and you're prepping for bowl games if you're good. Like, absolute insane. Like, this is nuts. So what I want to talk to you, and we've talked about this a little bit. We've touched on it, but I think we need to come up with Just Two Fans solution for the college football calendar. And I don't think it's easy, right? Because the whole point of the transfer portal being now is you got guys moving before the next semester starts, which is in January. And so you want to get guys moving and committed to another school so they can start school in January at their new place. I think with bowl season and the playoffs, you just can't do that anymore.
I agree. I think what the transfer portal window should be now, there's no early signing, there's no late signing. There's one, because if I remember, this used to be like the case where there was one window where everybody committed. There was one window where everybody transferred, which transferring wasn't that big of a deal back then. But I think what they need to do is move it later into the season, right, or later into the year, and then just extend the window to where it's like it's one big window where it's like, this is your time to make your adjustments. I mean, I don't think it's that difficult. The transferring through semesters is weird, but it could be just one of those things where like you have to express your intent at this point, like sign your intent to go, and then the next starting semester is when you'll actually be there. I understand that kind of fucks with like football practice stuff and like team stuff, but like at the end of the day, you used to have to sit out a whole fucking year. Like let's put this in frame of reference here. You used to have to sit out a whole goddamn year. Sitting out one semester ain't gonna kill you.
Here's my proposed solution, and it's along the same lines as you. Okay. Absolutely zero deadlines for anything or open transfer portal or anything until the day after the college football championship game. If you don't win 6 games and you're not eligible for a bowl game, no recruiting. It's a dead period.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, you suck. Sit at home. You can't do anything. That's the consequence for you being terrible. Recruiting period opens the day after the college football championship. We want these teams, especially now in a 12-team playoff, your sole focus should be on winning football games, nothing else. You shouldn't be worried about roster turnover. You shouldn't be worried about sitting out of bowl games, none of that crap. You should be fully focused on winning football games. So, recruiting window opens up the day after the college football championship game. Then you have one national signing day like we have always had until like 2 years ago on the first Wednesday in February. After signing day, the day after National Signing Day, the transfer window opens. And that is when players can transfer out. And then the transfer window is open until fall camp. If you get through spring ball and you get through summer camp and you're like, okay, I really don't have a spot on this team. Okay, see ya. Right? And then you can go somewhere before fall camp. But that's a consequence of transferring. Why are we making it so easy for these guys to just change teams willy-nilly? So it accomplishes 2 things, right? It encourages guys to stick around because you're only going to be with your new team for a couple weeks of practice. You're probably not going to get a starting spot unless you're an absolute freak, right? It allows coaches to focus on what matters in December, and it brings some purpose back to bowl games that is totally gone right now. And it allows high school recruiting to be high school recruiting without worrying about transfers in, out, whatever.
Hey, and if you're a kid and you're eligible and your heart's set on going to, Hale State University, well, you can still enroll as a student if you want, right? Be there in January, ready to go, and then just ready to put pen to paper on National Signing Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Big risk, but still.
Right.
Well, I mean, like the offer can still be there, right? Like,
Yeah.
Or no, I guess not for transfers, but yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying if
I don't-
everything
I
was
don't-
done in a window.
I don't know why we don't need to make it easy for transfers to get into school right away. I don't think that needs to. There should be some consequence to transferring or some deterrent, right? And in every
I
other
would say
sport,
less
when does free
deterrent or
agency open up?
consequence and more like there should be reward, like awarded for staying. Right. In some way,
There's
like,
more of a reason to stay. Like, and
yeah,
you're not being
that's-
rewarded.
Yeah.
but, like,
Incentivize staying rather
Right.
than
and you're still going to have opt-outs, right? But you're not going to have Ohio State playing in a New Year's Six bowl game with 12 guys transferring out in the first 2 days of the transfer portal opening up.
yeah. That's wicked, dude. It is so wicked.
So
And I'm sure
That's
Marvin
my
Harrison's
solution.
sitting out.
just put us fucking in charge of this whole thing. We've got it all figured out.
God, it's so easy, guys.
But if you do that too, Jamie, like if you say mandatory, you can't do this, you can't do that till after. I mean, you might have people sitting out for various reasons, but I mean, Oregon State's going to the Sun Bowl, and so is Notre Dame with their starting quarterbacks not in the
Yep.
transfer portal, right?
Yeah,
And so
Ohio
you
State
get
doesn't
yeah.
have their starting quarterback anymore.
so you get
The New Year's
better
Six
games
Bowl.
out of this. Like
Yeah.
it's just
Well,
It's
and
better for the
transfers.
sport.
Well, and it gives transfers. If you're dead set, if you're DJ and you're like, my coach bailed, I'm transferring. This is your tryout.
right.
Go out and put on a show.
Yeah.
And like you get like, here's the thing. Nothing's stopping you from going on Twitter and be like, I'm going to transfer out of here when the transfer portal window opens. They just can't. You can't go actively talk and recruit to coaches. So you can go be like, you can literally put on Twitter and be like, DJU, I'm leaving because
I don't think
Coach
you want to
Smith
do
left.
that. Coach might bench you, but
True,
I
but you're
would.
like,
if I was
but
Oregon State's coach and you're like, you're out, I'm like, I'm gonna
See,
try
but
out
here's the
Aiden
thing.
Childs.
It depends, but Aiden Chilius is also in the fucking portal.
Yeah,
But like, it'd be like one of those things where you're like, fuck it, like let him go ball. Like, what else do you have to lose, man? Like, you're gonna start Ben Branson? No, fucking win the game because then you can get maybe better recruits if you look good still, right? There is incentivization of like playing these games that make you look good, right? Because if DJU goes out and he's like, I'm transferring after this because like the Jonathan Smith left, he was kind of my guy, so I'm gonna go out, ball out, watch the film, right? Watch me on film, watch this game, watch what I can do. Oregon State goes out, wins by 40. You know, maybe a quarterback goes, "Oh, I like this new coach. Look
Also,
what he did to
like,
DJ." Like,
do you think there's a single coach out there that would have any issue with the schedule that I just laid out? Other than the non-bowl game coach, like Dion would probably be pissed he can't be recruiting right now, but win more fucking games than you
Yeah.
could be coaching.
probably Nick Saban just because he bitches about anything.
Also, like, let's allow December to be like, if you're not in a bowl game, open practices. You
What
can
if you
practice.
what if you did that as like I don't know. I'm just spitballing because it's fun, but like if you made a bowl game, not every single year, like every single year, teams can either have 25 or 26 scholarships, right? And if you made a bowl game, you're eligible for 26. If you didn't make a bowl game, you get X amount of hours per week during bowl prep to recruit. Like,
Oh,
okay, so
yeah.
Dion, you
I'm
were
down.
one scholarship less than the other people, but since you didn't make a bowl game, you get 15 hours a week to actively recruit. While the
I
other
would
guys are
even
like
be-
something like that would be kind of fun. Help
I would
the
even
playing
be
field,
down
maybe.
with not like punishing them with a scholarship downgrade. I'd say you can go, here's your recruiting allotment. Go get
Yeah.
better. You clearly need help. Go get
Right.
Yeah.
better.
Also, it'd be really fun. Transfer bowl.
It's like the it's like the Under Armour.
like
Tell me that
All
wouldn't be
American
the
Bowl.
most lit fucking game you've ever seen.
All right, the north transfers versus the south
Yeah,
transfers.
until you got like 5 guys tearing their ACL and
Oh my god.
they're no
It would
longer
be
affiliated
so
with the
sick,
school.
though. But
Everything
then,
we've said is
you're
not worth
highlighting
it
because
now.
you know the top end guys aren't going to go do that. Walter Nolan's not fucking doing that.
No.
So you get some dude out of fucking lower middle Tennessee State Tech who comes out, balls out, gets a fucking goes to Michigan. You know, like it'd be fun as shit. I think it's like the Senior Bowl, man. It's like the All American Bowl, and like for high school. Like I think it'd be kind of sick to have a transfer bowl.
That would have to happen in what, February?
Fuck it, dude. We ball.
I just
More football, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you complaining about another football game, Jamie? Get out of here.
No, I'm not. But like this whole thing, like right now we should be getting excited for bowl games, and literally my Twitter feed is just full of transfer this, transfer that, high school commit this. I'm like, this is bowl season, man. I want to be talking about football games, I don't want to be focusing on this right now. This is off-season stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I also think they need to like cut back on bowl games. I think there needs to be less bowl games.
I don't think that at all.
Okay.
I'll tell you to your point
I
you just
do.
made, Jamie. Like I do think like people have already glossed over the fact that we get to watch Bo Nix's greatness one more time because they're like, oh, sweet Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel.
Yep.
Everyone's already focused on how is he going to replace Nix? Well, Nix isn't being replaced yet, guys. Nix still has one more game that he's going to go wear green and yellow. So let's enjoy it.
Also, mad props to Bo Nix. Man, like I wish more people had the mentality that Bo Nix has. It's so good for the sport. That man just loves college football.
So much. Dude, so a couple people were like
he's
giving me
just a
shit
less-
like about like they're like, oh, like he was like his towel over his head after the game, and like I was like, yeah, and to be fair, the people who were saying this were like people who like aren't really into sports, so they don't really understand like the emotion behind it, I think. But they're like, is that kind of a normal reaction? I was like, yes.
Very.
If you've worked 6 or 7 years of your life for one goal and you were right there, and you just miss, like that is an emotional thing. Like, of course, I'm surprised he wasn't sobbing. I would have been fucking sobbing.
I would have been.
I sobbed after my last football game.
I sobbed after my last baseball game, man. Like, it's fucking like I don't.
You
people
work
giving him shit for
so
that
hard to
don't
try to
get it.
achieve your goals, and then it's over. Right? And yeah, Bo Nix is going to play on the next level. And I love Bo Nix so much, but it's not going to be the same as his college days, right? It may be better, it may be worse, we don't know, but like it's not his college days. It's a totally different thing. And
It all depends if he's drafted in the right system or not.
he's just a system quarterback. Check down King, man. Check down Charlie over there.
Tell you, there's a lot of teams I think would rather have Bo Nix than the guy they're trotting out on Sunday right now.
Yeah, fucking A,
I
dude.
mean, Mike Tomlin's over there going, yeah, Bo Nix would be mighty nice in Steel City. Anyway, I was laughing, and it's not a knock on him at all. So the other guy is just corny, but he's good for people. But Bo Nix is just a more talented, less corny Tim Tebow. Like you have to be honest with yourself.
1,000%.
Like
He's just also not as
and
annoying
far more
about it.
talented as well.
That's what I'm saying. He's a more talented, less corny,
Yeah.
but him and Tim Tebow are quite similar.
In their especially like in their drive and stuff. Like nobody's ever knocked Tim Tebow as being like a lazy, non-passionate guy. Nobody's ever said that in your life.
Dude knew how to win, though. Give him that.
You had a win with Willis McGahee anyway.
And he stood next to Bo on the stage, and I asked myself, I said, does Bo look as old as Tebow, or does Tim Tebow look as young as Bo?
Tim
Like,
Tebow is one of those guys who it lends credence to like social elites drinking the blood of innocence to maintain their youth. It's like he's one of those guys, man. Like it's just like he never ages. It's like Keanu Reeves, man.
No,
He's eternal.
Tim Tebow Goes to church and actually gets the blood of Christ.
He does it by cutting his own wrist, though.
Yeah. Heals immediately, dude. It's like Wolverine powers.
Yeah.
Oh my god. The show, guys. We're off the rails. I love it.
So I was gonna have us go through and do our bowl picks. We can still do that if you want.
Fuck it, we ball lightning round.
All right, lightning round. Everybody got the bowl schedule up?
I got it up.
Cameron, you want in on this?
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm posting the link in the chitty chat.
Oh yeah, chitty chat. Link in chat for our bowl pick'em. Join. It'll be fun. Even if you're a lurker who just like comes and watches the Twitch, chill. We love that. Join. It'll be fun. You know, if you lose, you lose.
If you're listening afterwards to the podcast, the link is in our Twitter account. We'll put it in the bio. Eli, put it in our link tree.
Link in bio.
Eli is going to add it to our link tree, so it'll be all in the bios of our socials that we use so often. All right. Bowls start on Saturday with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Woo! That's fun. All right. The Myrtle Beach Bowl, Ohio Bobcats against the Georgia Southern Eagles.
Ohio Bobcats.
Bobcats.
OHIO.
The Cricket Celebration Bowl, Florida A&M Rattlers against the Howard Bison.
Florida A&M Rattlers.
Same.
The Rattlers,
Strict mascot
because
pick.
if they bite the bison, it'll get poisoned and die. They win in a
This is a
mascot
strict-
fight.
Guys, it's supposed to be lightning round. We don't need explanations.
Arnell Carriers
A&M.
New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana Raging Cajuns against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks.
You know how much I love my Raging Cajuns, but it's Jacksonville State.
Raging
Same.
Cajuns.
That boy, Cameron. Avocados from Mexico, Cure Bowl.
Avocados from Mexico.
Appalachian State against Miami of Ohio.
App State, baby.
App State.
Miami.
App State.
Isleta? I don't even know what that is. Isleta, New Mexico Bowl. Fresno State against New Mexico State.
Fresno State.
Aggies.
Aggies.
Fresno State.
Starco Brands LA Bowl. Boise State against the UCLA Bruins.
Boise State.
Eucla.
UCLA. Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. Texas Tech Red Raiders and the Cal Golden Bears.
Cal Golden Bears.
Pew, pew, pew. Red Raiders.
Cal.
Red Raiders. Famous Toastery Bowl. What? Anyway.
Famous Toastery.
I don't know.
Old Dominion Monarchs. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers.
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 Old Dominion.
I like how that was like the fancy people versus the rednecks.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Marshall Thundering Herd and the UTSA Roadrunners.
UTSA big.
Utsa.
It's big monies.
Thundering Herd.
He's
Look at you go. Roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. Syracuse Orange and the South Florida Bulls.
Cuse.
Bulls.
Doubles.
Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. UCF Knights and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. This one's
The
a good one.
Bumblebees.
Knights.
Give me the Knights.
Las Vegas Golden Knights.
I don't think that's right.
Oh yeah,
I'm
UCF.
a
In
little
fact,
big
they're
Georgia
like
Tech. Okay,
they're like
all right.
2,500 miles apart. The Camellia Bowl. Northern Illinois Huskies, Arkansas State Red Wolves.
This one's tough. I'm gonna go Arkansas State.
Yeah, I got the Wolves.
Wolves, I cannot go for any Huskies.
Fair.
I'm
totally
also
fair.
Arkansas State.
76 Birmingham Bowl. Duke Blue Devils and the Troy Trojans.
Troy.
Give me Troy.
I also have Troy.
Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Air Force Falcons, James Madison Dukes.
James Madison.
U.S. Air Force Academy.
James Madison.
Just because I love my host, I'm going with James.
Attaboy.
Corny fuck.
Famous
weird.
Idaho Potato Bowl. Utah State Aggies, Georgia State Panthers.
Georgia State.
Ags.
Ags.
Georgia State.
Georgia does not play in Idaho in December. Get out of here.
Dude, they play in
It's
a
inside.
baseball stadium.
It's at Boise State.
No, it's not.
It's at Boise
It's at
State. No.
Idaho.
No, I'm
No,
saying
it's
their
not.
home. Their home. I'm saying their home stadium. Usually, it's a baseball stadium. They can play anywhere.
It's at Boise State, Albertson Stadium.
Oh, it'll be fine.
That's a dub for me. All right. 68 Ventures Bowl. I don't know what that fucking means. Eastern Michigan Eagles, South Alabama Jaguars.
South Bama.
Jags.
Same.
South Bama.
SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, Northwestern Wildcats, Utah Utes.
Is Cam Rising playing in that game?
No.
Are we sure? Because he's coming back.
He
He's
is
not
not
gonna
playing
play
in
in
the
that.
game.
Oh, then fucking Northwestern because Utah doesn't have their top two quarterbacks because Bryson Barnes is transferring.
Utah.
Utes.
Utah.
Easy Post Hawaii Bowl. Man, that's lucky.
I know who Eli's picking.
San
You fucking know
Jose
it.
State Spartans, Coastal Carolina Chanticleers.
Okay, this has been such a bad pick'em for me because I'm not picking any of the teams with the names I love. It's gonna be San Jose State, but I want to pick the Chanticleers.
I'll pick the Chanticleers for you.
Thank you.
They have to go like 8 time zones away.
These are athletes, Jamie. It's okay.
I'm going San Jose State.
San Jose State.
Quick Lane Bowl, Minnesota Golden Gophers at 5-7, by the way, against Bowling Green Falcons.
Go Gophs.
Go Gophs.
Go Gophs.
Yeah.
Serve Pro First Responders Bowl, Rice Owls, Texas State Bobcats.
Texas State.
Bobcats. Texas forever.
Bobcats. They're both in
Bobcats.
Texas. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, UNLV, Kansas.
Kansas.
Rock Chalk.
Chalk.
UNLV.
That is way against the grain on the ESPN.
Yep.
That is
And
it's
fuck
bold.
'em.
Military Bowl, presented by GoBowling.com.
I really hope that's like a bowling website and not about college football bowls.
I will tell you right now.
While you look it up, Tulane Green Wave against the Virginia Tech Hokies.
It
This
is
one's-
about bowling.
It's a bowling website. You can find centers. There's promos. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm going Green Wave.
Green Wave for me too.
Green Wave. Also, it pulls up any bowling alley in your area. It's not exclusive to
Guys,
one
go check out
franchise.
GoBowling.com. It's the greatest marketing of all time.
It's pulled up 18 around me. Like,
You're like, I only knew of one.
yeah.
Virginia Tech.
Duke's Mayo Bowl. Who's going to get the Mayo bath? West Virginia Mountaineers, North Carolina Tar Heels.
Go Mountaineers.
UNC.
I'm pretty
Country
sure
roads.
Drake May's not playing, right?
That's my guess. That's what the assumption I am going off of.
I'm going to go with West Virginia.
Country roads, take me home.
Mama.
DirecTV Holiday Bowl. USC against Louisville.
Cards by a millie.
Lawville.
Cards.
Yep, going with the Sluggers.
Tax Act Texas Bowl. Wow, that is.
I thought you were
Texas.
saying Texas weird at first.
I did too. I thought you were having a stroke for a minute.
Texas.
Tax Act Texas Bowl. Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Texas A&M Aggies in a former Big 12 matchup. Who we got?
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
Okay, State.
Okay, State big in this one for me.
Yeah, OK State for sure.
Save an Aggie around a cowboy.
Wasabi Fenway Bowl.
Love this.
Boston College in a virtual home game against the SMU Mustangs.
Go Pony Excess.
Mm-hmm. Smoo.
Smooth.
The Smoo Mustangs. The Smoo Stangs.
Smooth Stangs.
Smoo Stangs.
SMU.
Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl.
Bad boy. What
Please,
you gonna
I need you to
mow?
look at this
What
one
you
up.
gonna...
Is this a crime mowing it's like waste management from Sopranos? Bad Boys
Does
Mowers.
sell
They're, like,
tractors.
they're landscapers.
Their tractors and their website is badboycountry.com. Sounds like an outlaw country radio
Jamie,
station.
I'm taking back my whole thing of not. There needs
No,
to be
yeah.
there needs to be more of these
Yeah.
weirdly obscure bowl games.
Miami Hurricanes and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Welcome to Miami.
Bienvenido a Miami.
Will Smith.
Well,
Did they lose all their quarterbacks? Like, does Miami even have a quarterback left?
they're running Wildcat. Don't worry about it.
Do they need a quarterback?
Yeah.
Mario
No,
Cristobal's
I
offense, dude.
think they still have Emery Williams.
Your
I am
grandma
going
could line up
Miami.
back there and throw those passes.
That is true. That's true. Miami. Pop-Tarts Bowl.
Oh, Chris didn't pick. Oh yeah, he did. Will Smith.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pop-Tarts Bowl. Kansas State Wildcats. NC State Wolfpack. This is our first ranked versus ranked bowl game.
Ooh, that's fun.
And it's literally 50-50 on ESPN right now.
Yeah, I'm going Wolfpack.
So it's 50-50 picked, but Kansas State is the favorite.
Yes.
I'm going Wolfpack because I forgot about them last week, and I feel bad. Forgot that they
I'm
existed.
going Wolfpack because I have loose connections to Dave Doran.
Kansas State against the Green.
You just want to be different. It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, I'm looking at my already picked picks here. I'm not going against you just to do it. I'm sticking with my picks.
That's fair. Far and away the best bowl game that we have announced so far, and one of the best matchups, I think, of bowl season. The Valero Alamo Bowl. This game is always really good, by the way. Outside
Always.
of the New Year's Six, this is one of the best bowl games every year. Oklahoma State against Arizona.
Not Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma, sorry. Oklahoma against Arizona.
Dude, I'm going Noah Fafita all day, baby.
So am I.
Yeah, Zona.
Arizona.
Zona.
I
I still
they
think
may
Jed
win
Fish got
big,
snubbed
too.
with Coach of the Year. I think he should have been Coach of the Year.
Absolutely did get snubbed.
I love Kalen DeBoer. I don't love Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer did a great job this year. Jed Fish did something unbelievable.
Unreal. Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Fuck yes.
Kentucky,
That is the metalist bowl game. Tax Slayer Gator Bowl.
Damn it, I looked it
Kentucky
up. It's
Wildcats.
just about taxes.
Fuck.
Kentucky
I was
Wildcats.
really hoping it was like a vigilante, like I take out the tax man.
Yeah, it's an anti-IRS website. Like,
Yeah.
The dog, the bounty hunter of taxes.
Kentucky Wildcats and Clemson Tigers. Yeah, that's
LT Grays.
Yeah, I got Clemson.
Same Clemson.
I got Clemson. I think this is one that looks like super gross on paper. We're just like, and it's going to be a ridiculously good game.
I think it'll be a good game. I just don't. I could not care less about the outcome of that game. There's a lot of games I don't care about. This one, I'm just like, blah.
This game should have been great, and is an absolute travesty of the transfer portal. The Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Notre Dame, Oregon State.
Yep.
Both teams without their quarterbacks. Just kind of turned into a very meh game.
Is Sam Hartman transferring, or is he going to NFL?
He is opting
Portal.
out. Oh no, he did he portal?
I thought I saw portal. Maybe just opting out.
I think he's opting out.
Either way,
For
he's not
draft.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's opting out.
I'm gonna go Beavs. They don't like Go Branson's gonna come out and prove something.
I got the Fighting Irish.
Yeah, I think it's Notre Dame.
I think it's big time Notre Dame because unless
Yeah,
you
I'm
guys
changing.
didn't
I'm
see,
going Notre Dame.
or Oregon State lost to the portal, probably at least 2 of their best defensive players, if not 3.
Yeah.
And they're going to go with Gold Branson. However, part of me wants Oregon State to win just to watch Ben Grohl Branson, who hasn't been trusted by anybody in that organization, win a bowl game MVP 2 years in a row.
That'd be pretty funny. No, I'm switching to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'd be happy to lose this pick and watch Oregon State go out there and
Agreed.
just figure it out, but
Agreed.
it's not going to happen.
100%. AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Iowa State Cyclones, Memphis Tigers.
They move their body like a cyclone. Makes me want to do it all night long.
Calling
for
on
me, too.
Memphis.
Chris?
We're going with songs. I mean, Memphis has Graceland, so it's over. Tigers by a million.
All right, now we're getting into our New Year's 6 bowls. I think, yes. Goodyear Cotton. How's it the New Year's 6? This one's on the 29th. Anyway, Goodyear Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Missouri. This is going to be fun.
I'm going Tigers, and I think kind of by a bit because Ohio State is not going to have their best players. A lot of them.
I agree with that. I had Missouri picked, and I'm sticking with it.
I think Missouri wants to prove something. It's a lot of their. I think I could be wrong, but I think a lot of their players are playing in this game because they have been historically pretty bad in the SEC, and they want to win one.
Yeah, I got Mizzou.
Yep. I also have Mizzou.
That's fun for us. Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, another New Year's 6 bowl. This one's on the 30th because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Penn State
New Year's
Nittany
weekend.
Lions. Yeah. Penn State Nittany Lions, Ole Miss Rebels.
Jackson Dart going to another school, so I'm going Penn State. Yet another school. Is that right? Is Jackson Dart, or did I read that right? That Jackson Dart was going to another school?
I don't remember. I don't even know.
Let me see if ESPN would be fast.
I don't see anything. Maybe not. Okay, if Jackson Dart's playing, I'm going Ole Miss.
I think he's staying. I need to know, though.
Yeah, I mean, no recent
Jackson
news
Dart.
on him on ESPN.
Still undecided is the last thing I see.
On what? Is he going to the
Oh,
NFL?
no, never mind. No. That was November 18th. That was a month ago. So he could. I'm gonna caveat this one and say if Jackson Dart plays Ole Miss, if he doesn't,
That's me too. Same.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it.
I think it's cheating. I'm just going Penn State.
okay.
That's pretty funny. All right. Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. What's trans perfect?
I don't know, Jamie. Cameron, figure it out.
Do your thing.
Language and technology solutions.
For business.
Interesting.
And we enable
Okay.
our clients to reach new markets globally by connecting with their audiences and providing the
Okay,
best
this
possible
isn't a
customer
fucking ad.
experience in any language.
All right, Trans Perfect Music City Bowl, Maryland Terrapins and the Auburn Tigers.
I'm going Pins. The old Terrapins.
I like the Terps.
I like the Terps. Auburn shouldn't even be in a fucking bowl game, so I
Correct.
hope they lose.
Well, I picked Auburn, so
Boo.
Capital One Orange Bowl, the national championship #2. If you talk to any Florida State fan,
Or Georgia
Florida
fan.
State, yeah, or Georgia fan, Florida State Seminoles or the Georgia Bulldogs.
Dogs.
Georgia by
Georgia.
probably 1 million.
Yeah, Georgia by it
Yeah.
out.
Florida State's going to come out. They're going to look like USC when they played Alabama, and you remember that?
Yeah.
All like barking and shit, and then they're just going to get absolutely.
That is
murdered.
still one of my favorite college football things of all time when USC came out barking like dogs and pretending they were dogs and they got just fucking blown out.
absolutely waxed. All right. Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, Wyoming Cowboys and the Toledo Rockets.
To the moon. Rockets. It's tough. It's a tough one.
I got the Rockets.
I'm going Cowboys.
yeah, because you guys stayed at my hotel in Cheyenne, I'll always have a soft spot for the Wyoming Cowboys.
Yeah, that
so
was fun,
going
wasn't
with the Cowboys.
Did I see this game's on? Yeah, it's on the CW. I love that for them.
Yep. Well, last year it was only streaming on Barstool. They
Yeah.
didn't have a TV, so they had to sign a TV partner.
Yeah. I'm just glad that the Pac-12 network didn't just dissolve into fucking CW Sports Network, but
CW Sports.
ACC games were on CW this year, and I actually watched a couple of them. At least you can watch.
And you
That's
watch
more
for
watchable.
free over
Yeah,
air
that's
that's a
too.
good point.
You
Yeah,
can watch
good
it for
point.
free.
ReliaQuest Bowl, LSU and Wisconsin. Is Jane Daniels playing?
That's the question here. Is Neighbors playing? I
don't
doubt
think
it.
matters.
I think it's
honestly,
LSU.
I still don't think it matters. I'm picking LSU.
I think so too.
Wisconsin's pretty garbo.
Yeah, they've been no buenos this year.
LSU.
Verbo Fiesta Bowl. Oregon Ducks, Liberty Flames in the most lopsided spread or betting lines I've seen.
Ducks by a lot.
Ducks by a milli.
I think
It's going to
Ducks
be a
cover.
hurting.
Yeah, Ducks.
Hurting.
Bo Nix is going to be on a fucking goddamn mission.
This is like
game.
the other side of this game is really funny too because it's like very much like the schools on opposite ends of political ideologies as well because like Liberty is like MAGA University and Oregon is like little
Hippie
libtard
you.
central. Like so it's really funny about this matchup to me.
Dude, they're a 17.5-point favorite right now.
I
Yeah.
would hammer that.
Dude.
Yeah.
The matchup predictor gives Liberty a 10% chance to win this
Yeah.
game.
I
which
mean,
is
but with Bo
generous.
Nix coming and playing in that game, I don't think Liberty's really has a chance.
Duck fans lucked out that Bo Nix is not doing the conventional thing here because with Ty Thompson being gone and Bo Nix, we would be
Novosad's banged up.
and Novosad wouldn't be playing.
So we'd be fucking Patrick Herbert and Wildcat,
Wildcat, baby. That would have been a fun game to
Actually-
watch.
Actually, I think they'd still win.
I
To be
think they
honest
would
with you.
too.
I think they'd cover. I think they'd
They
cover.
would still win.
They would cover, and I'd still take the over.
It sucks that we're not going to have Jackson Powers Johnson. That
does suck.
hurts.
Yeah.
Cheez-It Citrus
Did
Bowl.
he opt out of the bowl game, or is he still going to play in it? He might still play. I didn't see anything. I know he's going to the draft.
I
but
think
I did see-
basically once they declare they're out,
I mean,
but
so did
and
Bo.
maybe not. Maybe not.
Bo has
Bo,
to, I guess.
he doesn't have a choice. He wouldn't if he had a choice. Bo Nix would play in college for fucking.
I could see Jackson Powers Johnson being convinced by Bo Nix to play in that game.
Oh, just being like, come on back, baby. Let's do this one more time.
We'll get insurance. We'll get insurance.
Yeah,
and we'll
that's the
do this.
insurance you need.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I got you that.
Cheez-Its.
NIL money to buy that insurance.
Yep.
Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. Tennessee Volunteers, Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yep.
Hammer the under, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Death, taxes, and the Iowa under, baby. And I'm going Iowa in this game. I don't like Tennessee's offense against that defense.
The over-under's set at 36.5.
Yeah.
Hammer the fuck out of that under.
Yeah, that's a high scoring
Hammer it.
game.
Yeah.
I'm still taking the Vols, but
Tennessee's defense is bad enough to let Iowa score.
I'm taking the Vols
Might
for this,
be
but I'm going to
true.
hammer the under with my money. I'm not touching the money line on this one.
Iowa is the worst 10-win football team I've ever seen.
Tennessee's not a great 8-win team either.
They're not, but I think Tennessee wins this one.
All right.
Rocky Top.
All right, on to the college football playoffs. Semifinal at the Rose Bowl, we've got the Michigan Wolverines and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Wolverines.
Yeah. Go Blue.
I don't fucking know.
It's a coin flip
I have
game.
switched this pick. Oh, I'm picking Bama, and
Lock
I don't
it in.
like it.
Lock
I don't
it in.
like it at all because it gives credence to what the committee did, and I fucking hate that. But I think Alabama's going to win.
Bama.
Of course you picked
And-
Bama, Chris.
They're a good team, man.
Gotta put them in no matter what, Chris. Right, Chris? Oh, gotta put them in no matter what. Gotta bang my table for Alabama. I will never let you live that down.
They should have been in. They should have been
I
in
should
last
be
year
the one
too.
that doesn't let him down.
I wanted the better team in last year, and they're the better team this year too. I think there was a different argument with FSU being an undefeated Power 5 champ, but Alabama's a good team. So.
Hold on! Her sister was a witch!
That's all I think about when you start going on that segment.
I'm very subdued right now. What are you talking about?
CFP number 2 got the All-State Sugar Bowl, Washington Huskies, Texas Longhorns.
I have the Huskies.
I've got Texas and I think kind of big.
I have Texas, and I'm not super confident about it because their weakness is their secondary, and we've seen how that goes.
Yeah. My theory behind this is that we've seen Washington play 2 complete games this whole season, and both of them came against the Ducks. So I feel like they just have the Ducks number, and I don't know. That's my thought process. I'm going Longhorns.
Also, fuck them.
Fuck them. Those are real guttural fuck too. Fuck them.
Hey, man, right from the gut.
I don't feel good about it, but
I'm picking the purple team.
All right, and then the college football national championship. Who's going to win it all? Eli?
I think Michigan, and it kills me to my core because they're fucking being so annoying, and they're like, it's
only going to be way
fucking
worse.
nightmare. But I think Michigan takes it.
Cameron?
Michigan.
Bama.
Bama.
Ugh, this is gross.
Here's
This
the thing.
playoff is fucking gross.
Here's the thing.
These are like the worst of, like, you know, those like would you rather questions that are just disgusting. I would rather do those. I would rather do any of those than this fucking playoff. It's disgusting.
Here's the thing. There's one outcome in this situation that cannot fucking happen.
We're not putting that out into the ether anywhere.
I didn't say.
I know.
You can read
But
between lines. You shouldn't
we're
have
not
to
putting
read
it out
very
to
hard.
the ether.
There are three teams that can win.
The only scenario that is somewhat bearable is Texas winning. And even that is pretty gross.
Yeah. At least I have like ties to Austin, so I can get behind that a little bit.
I mean, I have ties to Michigan, but I'm severing those as quickly as I fucking can at the moment.
Yeah, but Michigan's being like annoying and like playing victim when they're the fucking people who did it to themselves. So that's what's gross about. Like honestly, like years before this, I'd probably be kind of rooting for Michigan, but after this year and watching them be like, we're doing it. Like I can't believe we're going through all this adversity that is totally not our fault. And we're still winning against garbage teams. Thank you, God. Fuck that, dude. It's so dumb and annoying. I'm so over Michigan right now. Fucking hook 'em horns, but I think Michigan's gonna win. Am I wrong?
That's pretty good.
Am
No,
I wrong?
you're right. You're right. I'd still like if it comes down to Michigan, Washington, I'm rooting go blue, baby.
Oh, big time. I'm gonna paint my face blue and maize.
I know you didn't want to talk about like the situation with the Ducks losing, but like I might actually have to delete my Twitter account if the unthinkable happens.
Yeah, I'm taking a break. I'm snoozing. I'm snoozing. I'm not going to work because I work with Husky fans. I'm not. No.
You guys are so lucky that your job doesn't require you to be on Twitter.
Yeah, this theme music would describe everything that is that situation.
So if the worst were to happen, it would make me really wish that Alabama hadn't made it in and Florida State had, so that we can be like, doesn't count. The SEC champion wasn't in. Oh, sorry. I guess we could be like,
it doesn't count because
you didn't have an undefeated team in there. You didn't beat the best team in the country, Florida State. Especially if Florida State wins their bowl game. It's a whole fraud. It's a fraud. It's a fucking fraud championship.
No, it's a split national championship.
Yeah, I would support them
Just like
taking
all
the
their other
UCF.
ones.
I'd support them doing the UCF route and claiming it.
Yeah, but like I am fully like I hate Florida State so much, and I don't mind Georgia. I am fully rooting for Florida State in this game.
100%.
1,000,000%. I'm rooting for Florida State against Georgia. Like
You got absolutely hosed, man.
they got hosed. They literally could not do anything different except for Jordan Travis' knee not explode.
Yep. Also, like this whole like state of Florida investigating and trying to do a lawsuit. Like, nope. That you also, the commissioners of all of these leagues signed their own death warrant when it came to this.
When they gave the committee the ability to leave people out, there's a specific clause for injuries.
Yep. Literally, the committee did exactly what they were supposed to do. The problem is what they're supposed to do is wrong.
Yeah.
As soon as you said it's the 4 best teams, you were setting yourself up for this exact scenario.
Yep.
Thank God it's fucking over next year and we only had to deal with this one time.
Hey, can I take the buzzer beater?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Viewer, listener, thank you for tuning in. We love you. Chris, nice having you back on. As always. Cameron, always good having you with us. Say bye, Cameron.
Bye, Cameron.
Thank you to Zeta June for letting us use your music in the outro. Like, share, comment all of our stuff on socials that we don't really share, but we do sometimes. So chat with us there. Eli, take us away until next time.
So my buzzer beater has to do with the worst school in the country. Their men's basketball Twitter account tweeted out for the first time, celebrating for the first time since 2020, the Huskies are receiving votes in the AP Top 25. It's the saddest tweet I've ever seen in my life. Buzzer beater is Dubs down.
Dubs down, bitches. Deuces.
Such a sad.
Fire.